Hello, one and all. Welcome once again to Notte Eterna. I'm Kevin, your host and humble game master, and tonight we're going to be diving back into the Eternal Night with a continuation of our tale of the Blood Domain. Before we do that, however, let's go ahead and welcome. We have a new person here, Radiant Rosie. I think it's a great name to have in chat because we're in the Eternal Dark. We're going to need somebody who's a little bit radiant, I think, to help us out. So thanks for being here and helping us. As I said, I'm Kevin. I am going to be your humble dungeon master this evening, and I'm going to be joined by my four amazing players that you have seen the 2 previous weeks in their recurring tale as they play the same characters. So let's go ahead and let's meet them, shall we? We're going to start right here on my left. Maybe it's your right. I'm not sure how that pans out. But Adrian, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you again.
I'm doing great. Good evening.
Howdy. So tell us a little bit about Cade.
Well, Cade is a human ranger under a new class called Wandering Knight, which I'm testing out for the first time, and it seems to be really cool. He is in this world of darkness, he is a wandering knight that goes from town to town with his group of friends and his trusty horse, looking to find his own place of home within this darkness and going on crazy adventures along the way. He is a hunter of undead and malicious beasts, and as they say in the world of Spelljammer, sometimes love can be a monster too. So we'll see what gets laid. So looking forward to the adventure tonight, and I think this is our week 3, and
it is. Yes,
glad to see what kind of crazy, kooky, dark adventures we get ourselves into tonight. So
awesome. Well, thank you for coming back, Adrian. It's a pleasure to have you back. And I just know that Cade is going to be a light in the dark for everybody here. So thanks for being here. On the other side, Beth, you've seen her on the channel before. Hi, Beth. How are you?
Hi. I am good. I'm excited to be here. I'm ready to delve into the darkness. Just let it take me, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
Too dark? Just dark enough, I think. No, these characters are a blast, and I love just sort of tapping into the strange creepiness that they all have. But tonight, speaking of creepy, I am continuing to play Isra, who has been traveling with, her best buddy, Kalim. I don't know if he feels the same, but they've been traveling for quite a while, and yeah. Oh, she's a warlock, by the way. Touched by shadow. Lots of interesting stuff happening with that.
Definitely. So yeah, Isra is going to be telling us some more fun stories tonight. Beth, thanks for being back.
Thank you.
Can't wait to put you through the ringer this evening, but that's another time, another tale.
Oh boy.
Down below, speaking of creepy, that fun doll made an appearance last week. So Deb, welcome back. How are you?
Thank you. I am great. I'm so excited to see what else we get up to this evening.
Mm-hmm.
I am playing Flora. She's a Willoway bard. Another new subclass called the Dance Macabre with some fun, creepy features. So as a Willoway as well, she's got her little yam named Pandemonium. So she's collecting all sorts of little weird, creepy things. And yeah, I'm excited to see what other people stare at her this week because she's been getting a lot of that.
That's right. She's drawing a lot of attention for sure. So Deb, thanks for being back with your Rose Apothecary shirt. I'm excited to have you here. So finally, rounding out our team today is Miko, the man, the myth, the legend, producer here on the channel, also in the player chair. Welcome back from your own little sojourn to a different state. He went to go find D-Sweats on Twitter, I think.
No, I did not go try to find D-Sweats on Twitter. That is that was definitely not on my to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
But I did visit and had a nice visit with some family and had a little bit of a recharge, and I'm back and ready to do this thing. Yes, I am Miko, otherwise known as COKS Gem, and I am playing the Dark Cleric Kalim, Reborn, half-elf that has few words to say, but when he says them, he actually means what he says. So hopefully we're going to get a little bit more into that deep and dark fun stuff tonight.
Absolutely. So yes, these are our returning players playing these same characters, and this is part 3, as Adrian said. So After you fall in love with this, be sure to join us next week. But that is something we'll remind you about a little bit later. But for now, let's go ahead. Let's all take a deep breath. Let's turn the lights down low and let's step into the Eternal Night with part 3 of the Blood Domain, Blood Ties. So this evening, we will find our 4 characters once again within the Blood Domain. The Blood Domain is a dark and treacherous land ruled over by the Hijlaki, a high vampire race that are subservient and specialized only here in Nier. They are a new subclass that we see within the 5th edition rule set because of that. And the Hijlaki are ancient vampires that are empowered by the darkness of the moon here and the specialized dark that is around. For you see, when the sun set 161 years ago, the Hijlaki were able to crawl out from beneath their tombs, within their caves, and underneath their ancient catacombs to walk the land unfettered. And because of this, they have formed the Blood Domain, an area where they rule supreme and treat the lesser races, as they see them, as their personal slaves and food source. Because of that, they are unopposed, except for now, because 4 heroes have ventured out on the behest of a friend. Gregor, a half-orc from a nearby town, has actually requested the 4 of them to aid him. It would seem that his daughter was recently taken by a high-ranking aristocratic vampire known as Renaris for some unknown purpose. It would seem that the vampires are coming to Tarash, one of their lower areas, to the southern section of their borders, to actually acquire young women of a certain age. Because of this, his daughter was captured, Natalia, and the heroes are hoping to find her and bring her home safely. They have so far made their way into the Blood Domain, and because of that, they have had some unwanted attention. They attacked and slayed this Renaris character, ending his reign, but there is more still to do. Most recently, last week, we saw them join with an elven hunter on her own little quest, as she is leading them towards the cave lair of a being or creature known as the Great Dark. What exactly is the Great Dark, and why do the Hijlaki, recently unopposed, fear it so much? Well, hopefully tonight we'll find out that exact answer. So, we come back in this evening, and our 4 heroes are trudging through the countryside behind our elven companion, and as she takes up the lead, looking around, making sure that she is being followed properly, the 4 characters on their various steeds or walking along through the thick growth that is starting to grow around us in the forested area here, you see ahead of you that there is suddenly a slight break in the copse of trees. There is dark, finger-like tendrils of the trees that reach out towards all of you. As you move through this area, you can see that there is a cave opening. It is barely illuminated by the waning light of the moon. And within, you can see that there is a strange amethyst light purplish color that streams out like a distant fog. As you approach, she turns to you all. I trust you're all ready for this, then.
Think as ready as we'll ever be.
Good. Tell me, Sir Cade, are you worried?
See, that's the secret. Yes, I am. I am completely scared out of my wits, but I hold it together. Now we'll be fine. Now, what's the worst that could be happen? I mean, it's only called the Great Dark, and no one's ever slayed it before. What can possibly go wrong? No, we're fine. You see that that person there, Flora? Impeccable. You have nothing to worry about. Oh, and Isra. Isra is a fantastic warlock. You have nothing to fear. Oh, and Kalim?
Thank you so much, Cade.
It's Kalim. You know, he's always got your back.
Well, I didn't say that I was worried. I asked if you were worried.
Oh, I'm fine. We got this, right? And look around. Of course, let's go. Usually good not to overthink these kind of things until afterwards.
Oh, okay. Well, is there any questions before we enter the lair? I've not been in before, so this will be my first time making sure that everything is safe and secure. Regia says. Regia is if you all recall, a fair-skinned, very dark-haired elven hunter. She's wearing a very deep, dark cloak that bounds down across her back, and also on the inside of it is a deep, vibrant, blood-red color. She is a member of the Hunt, one of the mercenaries or hunters that are tasked by the Hishlaki to seek out the Great Hunt. I'm sorry, the Great Dark, and because of that, she has apparently just by herself found that this to be its lair, and that's why you all have come here. So she makes her way slowly forward. As she does so, you notice that there is a shimmering of the light around her. The dark seems to partially envelop her as she moves forward. Now, you all have seen her do this before when you first met her, actually. She has a way of blending into the shadows that marks her as a little bit different. As a Gloomstalker Ranger, she has a certain affinity for the dark, and because of that, she moves forward and looks back to make sure that you all notice that she's moving before she moves to the mouth of the cave.
What should we know about this beast as we get closer in its lair? Does it fly? Does it climb on walls? Does it drink blood? What do you know about the Great Dark?
Well, it does all of these things and more, supposedly. I mean, why else would the Hishlaki be afraid of something? They reign supreme here. No one has ever challenged them and lived. Yet they fear this creature.
Do you know of any weaknesses? Does it hate silver, lights, blunt weapons?
I do not. I must say, it is a little bit of a surprise. I don't typically like surprises, but and she kind of gives you a once-over with her eyes, you notice, Cade? Sometimes surprises are fun.
Lead the way. Cade will look over his shoulder to the rest of the party, and he'll look like completely confident that we're gonna nail this. But then you'll see him break. Like, I don't know what we're doing. Okay, let's go.
Alrighty. How is everybody approaching? Is everybody doing this stealthily? Is everybody just charging right in? How are we doing this?
Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, for
Okay.
Kalim, he's just walking. But the way that the darkness clings to him makes it impossible for him to not be stealthing everywhere he goes. Anywhere that's in dim light, you can basically just assume he's wreathed in darkness and being as silent as he can.
Absolutely.
Cade will use stealth. He has a shy step, or not shy step, stealthy step.
Absolutely. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's have everyone please make a stealth roll. We'll do this as a group test. So what we'll do is, because there are 5 of you, including Regia, the hunter, we will go ahead and have it be that there needs to be 2 successes out of the 5 of you to make sure that this is going to work. I'll roll for her, obviously.
22 for Kalim.
Nice.
21.
21, 22,
13.
13. 19, and she has a 21 as well. So apparently you all are very successful stealthily. Let me roll something else real quick.
It's just Flora's doll that's talking. Flora is
Yes.
silent, but
That's right.
Absolutely true.
What is your doll saying in this moment?
So one of my spells is Dissonant Whispers, and so I think the doll is trying to imitate the Dissonant Whispers and is just making noises.
Absolutely. As the 5 of you creep along, Regia moving into the cave first, a shadow and a glimmer of the night. There is the 4 of you up behind her in a line, and Flora, the porcelain doll with its is it deformed or is it just dirty? How exactly is it so creepy?
It's just got these like big eyes that seem to look at you in a more perceptive way than a doll should, and it just the eyes are unsettling. So from a distance, kind of looks like a regular doll, but if you take a second and look it in the eyes, it seems like it knows what you're thinking.
Absolutely. Okay. And so, Flora, as you walk along this porcelain doll hanging at your side, you notice Isra next to her that it seems to have its dark, lifeless eyes slightly move as you approach and follow up next to her. The doll seems to be watching you specifically as you all slip into the cave, seemingly unnoticed. There is a very slight scuffle of the ground as Flora makes her step within, as the doll does seem to murmur something that is not entirely intelligible. And as the five of you move into the cave, what you find is a dark, wide expanse. It would seem that the interior of the cave is slightly damp. There is a cool moisture that trickles down the walls in all directions. In the very far distance, there seems to be a very faint amethyst purplish type of light, barely noticeable except for the fact that all of you are experienced hunters in the dark, so you notice things like this. You do notice as you step within that there is no sound. Whatever footprints that you might have made, whatever sort of footfalls that might have been heard, go completely and totally void in this moment. There is an unnatural sound in here that you specifically notice, Kalim, with your super heightened and super skilled perceptions, that there is an absence of sound that can only be explained as sound cannot exist within this lair. And as you all move within, inherently, the burbling and the bobbling of the doll goes silent as well. It would seem that this is some sort of magical effect. You all can immediately tell, for there is a tingling to your flesh and the hair in the back of your neck begins to stand up. As you all move into here, can I please have Kalim and Isra make a wisdom check?
Just a normal ability check?
Just a normal ability check, please.
$24. You guys can see the rolls in D&D Beyond, right? I don't know why. Kalim is a hot dice guy.
Hey, that's all right. We'll take it.
That's an 11 for me.
Okay. Kalim, as you two are moving in, there is a difference in the tingle to you specifically, a sense of familiarity. Something here within the cave feels like stepping back into your home, if that makes sense. You feel like you've been here before, perhaps not physically. It would seem that there's something within the cave that is calling to you in this moment. And as you glance around slowly, taking everything in with your perception, you notice that in the back there is a slight flicker, almost like a beckoning of that light in the back, seemingly motioning you forward.
I will telepathically reach out to Isra, and I will say, there is something wrong here. I'm confused about this place. We should proceed with caution, more so than I think we may have already had.
Don't know what you're talking about. This feels like home.
Do I hear
But
Isra when she says that? Because she can't telepathically reach back to me. She has to say it aloud.
When Isra speaks aloud, no sound is uttered from her lips. Isra, you notice this as well. There seems to be, you hear and can feel that you're talking, but there is no sound. It's almost like being in sensory deprivation in here.
And as I get that confirmation, I will draw my darkened blade and telepathically reach out to everyone individually, saying, "Be mindful of your magic. We cannot speak in this place. If you need something, you must be visible. You must communicate with your hands and your eyes, please." And I'm like looking at everyone in their eyes as I say this.
Okay.
Flora's gonna use message and say
That's a
back.
verbal component.
Ah,
It is. Yes, it
that's
is.
right.
Well,
never mind.
My telepathy is
uh,
not magic, so
Mhm.
at that, I think what Cade will do is he will put his helmet on, and he will have his shield on his back, and the face of the shield will have one of like kind of like danger, like worry.
Mhm. Yes. As
Isra
you do-
will
sorry.
begrudgingly grab her crossbow that she doesn't prefer to use, but if she can't speak, then it's probably worth having.
Mhm. As you are all doing this, you see off to the side Regia in just a small glimmer as you see her in the moment of the dark of the shadows of the cave. She has her bow in hand and she knocks an arrow ready to fire if she needs to. As you all continue to step further into the cave, there is that same moisture. There's a moisture to the air, a humidity that starts to cloy about you all. It almost as if you are walking in some sort of desert area, but it's very wet feeling. It almost feels like a strange, for lack of a better term, a fog that you can't see. There's some sort of unnatural feeling in here, like there's something else going on. Kalim, from where you're standing, there is a small glint that catches your eye because your perceptions are so high. You're pretty much going to notice everything. So here we go. There is a small glint that you see up ahead that is briefly caught from that slightly flickering light in the back.
I will hold up a hand to all of my companions, in a gesture of halt, and I will proceed forward cautiously, and I will telepathically tell Isra, "Wait here, I'll be right back." And then I will proceed to start stepping forward.
Okay. As you do, you make your way towards the glimmering object, towards the light. Where specifically are you going?
Towards the glimmering object.
Okay, just making sure. As you creep forward towards the glimmering object, you get closer, and as you do, you see that the glint is caught yet again. It's very small, and as you move forward, you look down, and you can see that there is almost like something that could be unnaturally found so easily. Because your senses are so profound, you can notice this needle out of the haystack that would be the world. You see that there is a sewing needle, a long, thin twine out of the eye hole at the end of it.
I am assuming that this is familiar to Kalim, even though he doesn't understand why it is familiar.
Yes, this, as you look upon it, you can tell this is what's drawing you forward. This specific item is what's calling to you and asking you to come further into the cave. As he moves forward, can everybody else please make a perception check for me?
As that is happening, their perception checks, that is. It's going to sound weird. Can I do an insight on this feeling of being pulled forward? Because the way you're describing it, it almost seems like it's something externally that is kind of calling to me.
Sure.
And
Go right
I
ahead.
kind of want to do an insight on that, if I can.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
That'll be a 19 insight.
Right.
I'll just
19
use my
insight.
passive.
Okay. What did everybody else get for their perceptions, please?
10.
10?
16.
24.
Okay. Isra, as you are watching Kalim step forward, you can see that there is a mark that appears on the wall nearby where he is standing. It's on the surface of the cave. It suddenly looks like there is a slash mark across the wall. 4 deep grooves, almost like a claw, sliced across the wall. This would have been here before. Nothing was here to cause this just now, but it wasn't revealed until Kalim stepped past it. Kalim, as you look down towards the needle, you know inherently This belongs to you.
So, taking this above table for a second, in our history of traveling together, has this experience with when I've been traveling with Isra, has Kalim felt moments like this before where he, has these kind of like deja vu type experiences with his memory and the emotions and all of that sort of thing?
Part of your personal quest that you have, Kalim, is that you are trying to seek out the answers as to who you were before. The half-elven man that you were before you fell and were reborn as the creature that you are now.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, a lot of those answers have been missing to you, so you don't entirely know who or what you once were.
Right.
You
Now,
have
I'm
very small
specifically
snippets.
asking though if these moments of like deja vu like experience, if he's ever felt anything like this before when he's been traveling with Isra.
I understand. Only 3 times, and that is each one of the times that you met your companions that are currently traveling with you. You felt
Okay.
as if you knew them before.
Right. Okay.
That's it.
In that case, I think he will start to reach down for the needle, stop just before he goes to pick it up, and telepathically reach out to Isra and plead for her. Isra, come. And you can hear the unease in his voice in your mind. The
She
almost
runs
like
right over.
fear that he never has.
Yeah, very uncharacteristic for him, absolutely. Isra, as you move forward, you see that the claw mark on the wall is joined by another at a stranger angle near it as well. They seem to be appearing as the two of you are moving closer. You hear...
I'll
go ahead, go ahead.
Well, as I get to Kalim, I'll put my hand on his shoulder and I'll point it out. And
I don't think Kalim
and I
can take
guess
his eyes off of the needle.
oh, she'll try to like get your attention, and look at what's there.
He's almost motionless, like wanting to reach and pick up the needle, but unable to really pull away from it.
She'll start to reach her hand forward and look to you to try to get permission to take it, and see if perhaps reaching for it tears your eyes away. But even if you don't, she'll slowly move her hand forward.
If you'll permit this, Kev, I would actually like to ask Beth to roll a persuasion check for me.
Okay, yeah, I think so.
I think she would have
going
advantage on it because of Isra and Kalim's close relationship, but I kind of want the dice to settle this moment for me.
Sure. Because Isra, as you're rolling, before you tell us the roll here, as you look upon this needle, there is a flash of memory that comes to you specifically, of hiding in a back room, of 2 people finding you, and of a dark day when everything changed. That needle seems to be symbolic of that moment and of that memory, and you look to Kalim knowing that you can't tell him. And if you wanted to, there's no sound here. So it's like there is a supernatural thing stopping you from revealing the truth in what you know. What's that persuasion roll, please?
16.
16.
Okay. I think there is a moment where your hand starts to reach and he grabs Isra's wrist tightly and then locks eyes with her, and there is genuine fear in his eyes. But after a moment of the two of them looking at each other, he just releases his grip. And there's almost imperceptible nod. And he pulls his hand away from Isra.
she won't look away, but will reach her hand closer to it and try to pick it up.
Okay. As you close your fingers around this sewing needle and you pick it up, you recognize it. It's one of his. You recognize it from before.
She'll have it in her hands and look to Kalim and reach up and put it through his jacket, just kind of like not stabbing him in the chest or anything, but just so it can sit like on his lapel.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll just nod to him. And there's a cat.
Hello, kitty. Kalim, as Isra does this, the motion is so familiar. You know this has happened before, but not from Isra. There's a name that flashes through your mind. Sophia.
Berlin will telepathically tell Isra. Yeah. As if asking.
Yeah, you see all the color drains from her face, despite the
There
fact that she
barely
tries
is any.
Well, yes, that's
barely
true.
any color to begin with, but
Yes.
but even so, she goes pallid and stares at you with wide eyes, even more unnerving than usual, being all blacked out. And she'll reluctantly just nod a bit. And finally then, after that, is when she'll tear her gaze from you and look to the rest of the group.
Okay. Rest of the group, while this transaction has been going on, Cade, from where you're standing, you've been looking around trying to see marks of this creature. You are a ranger, you're a hunter as well. So you and Regia have been kind of making a circling, encompassing pass around the exterior of the cave, looking around the perimeter of the room. And as you've been doing so, you've been looking at the markings on the wall. They were not here when you all entered, but the more you look around, it seems to be that they are emerging from shadows around. Lots and lots of deep scoring and cuts, almost like a raked claw slashing across the wall at various intervals. As you have moving around looking at this, you're trying to see if you know anything about these things. Go ahead, please make either a nature or you can do an arcana roll, whatever you think you would rather make.
15 for nature.
Okay. You can tell that this is definitely a large creature, something that would be much larger than anything that would territorially be found in this area of the world. You've been in the blood domain before, you've hunted things here before, so you know that there are bigger creatures. But this is even larger. Something that would have claw marks that would be this big would be probably having a hand spread of at least 2 feet. Something quite large indeed. There's only one creature that you've ever encountered before that has been that large. And it was in a small village known as Serathis to the southeast of here several years ago. And you remember you, Ithalos, fighting such a creature, your Iraqian druid friend, when you adventured with him before your current adventuring group. And you know in that moment what exactly the Great Dark is. And when you look up suddenly with this realization, you can see that Regia is staring at you rather intently, studying your reactions if she's trying to figure out what exactly it is that you know.
Can I tell by her facial expression that she knows and is waiting for my confirmation that I know, or she has no idea and is looking at my face for confirmation?
Sure. Make an insight check, please.
She know that I know that she knows
Right,
that I
exactly.
know.
15.
15. She seems to be like she is unaware of what it is. She's trying to figure out what's going on. She seems to be very intrigued by the fact. I mean, she could tell that you had a reaction, and she's like
Mhm.
looking at you, trying to study and figure out what that is. She doesn't seem to know herself. No.
Okay. Well, all she can see, because I have my helm on, is glowing red eyes and
Right.
a face that's shrouded in darkness.
Mhm.
So I will lift it up a bit so she can see my face. You mentioned that I fought this creature before with the previous companion. Did I defeat this creature, or is this the one that got away?
You were successful in slaying this creature, barely, with the aid of one of your companions here. You and Thalos and Isra were able to vanquish this creature and scatter it.
Well, I will show concern, and we'll just put like a finger to my own mouth and just be like, and then I will point to her weapon, and then I will slowly start taking out my hand crossbow, making it look like I am getting ready. Shield is coming off the back. I know what's coming. And steely-eyed, and then put the helm back on, let the eyes glow red, and I know that this creature can fly? Is that what you said? It's large?
It is a large creature. It is bipedal. However, when you fought it, it chose to not be bipedal. It has a gait that is similar to an ape, but it's rather large, quite big. I would say you would estimate it to have been 25 feet tall. A massive creature, shrouded in dark, so its full look and its full appearance were not entirely known to you all. And even after you slayed it, it would seem to be that shadow clung to it. There was also something alien to its form as well, something very
Oh,
different.
that's right.
Its features were not entirely of creatures that you're familiar with here and near. So,
Okay. And I guess at that point, he's gonna get kind of closer to like scale the wall. He's just gonna, as he moves, he's gonna kind of have his back towards the wall as he's looking around for more shadows.
okay. And as you look around, you just see more of these claw marks across the walls. There is the occasional splotch of blood smeared across them as well. And you can actually see that the blood here is fresh. It looks as though, now that you're all looking more intently, the claw marks are appearing fresh right now as you look at them. That's why you didn't see them before. The blood is fresh. It's almost as if the cave itself is being clawed and rended apart as you stand here.
Is this a cave? Like we didn't like walk into some monster's throat. Like I'm just like, wait, I'm getting an Empire Strikes Back. This is no cave.
Right.
You know, like why is the cave bleeding? Wait a second. Okay.
What do you guys wish to do?
I think Kalim is still a bit frozen in this moment. I think he is more fixated on like trying to wrap his head around the name that popped into his mind and the feelings that are so unfamiliar to him and yet also familiar.
Absolutely.
Unknown and yet familiar, I guess, is the better way to phrase that.
Of course. Yeah, you try to cling on to these, you try to coax out more memory to try to figure out what exactly it is that you can't remember in this moment. You just remember the name. You don't remember anything else. You remember the needle. You, like I said, you know that it's yours, and that's really all you can remember.
Does this place smell like anything? Do I smell a creature? I'm close. Or does it just smell like blood?
It just smells like an old, musty area, kind of like a crypt.
Okay. But
Do
the blood
any
is
of
fresh.
the stalactites actually look like a uvula?
You look around, you can see that the stalactites are in fact stalactites.
Ah, okay, just checking.
Flora, as you all are moving through here, you notice something unusual as well. There is always the dance macabre, the unseen and unheard song and dance that you specifically can tap into, being a bard who can channel it. And it is always playing. There's always a chorus, there's always music that is accompanying you as you move through the world. In this cave, there is just a single stagnant, deep, resounding note that just rings through. It would seem that the dance macabre isn't entirely active in here either.
Flora's really unsettled by that, I think. And you'll have to let me know if I can do this or not. Can I activate Pan without a verbal command?
I got you. Yeah, I think so. I think you definitely, because you have an inherent connection with Pandemonium, your Yam Yam companion. The small little familiar does come up out of your bag, and it sits for a moment and crawls across the doll's head, climbs up and lands up onto your shoulder. It looks over across to Isra, who you see that there are two deep golden eyes staring out from the side where her pseudo dragon is also in a small pouch to her side. Sugar does not want to come out and be seen right now, it would seem. Pandemonium notices this and just looks about the room as well. It flicks its tongue in the air, almost like a snake would, and it looks about the room like it's trying to figure out something. You notice that Pandemonium, when they look around, they actually do a recoil at the flicker, almost as if there's something in this area they don't like. You get a feeling immediately off of him that there is a disgust, a distaste. Something in here does not sit well with him.
Because I have activated his magical powers, I now have limited telepathy.
Okay.
Is that just with him or is that with everyone?
I believe that's just with him.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Great. That's fine. So I'm just gonna pat him on the head and kind of whisper to him telepathically, "It's okay. It's okay."
Mm-hmm. He just kind of coos and leans into you slightly. But again, he's looking about the room like he is uneasy. He doesn't like what's going on in here. You see that he looks over towards Regia for a moment, watching her intently, before looking back to you.
Can I do an insight check on her?
Absolutely.
Pretty good, 23.
You can tell from the way that she's standing and watching all of you that she specifically was bringing you all in here to find out something specific, and she's watching you out of the four of you, watching you the most. It would seem that your Yam Yam companion noticed this, and that's why your attention was drawn to her. And as you glance over at her slightly, you see she very quickly, not very surreptitiously, I might add, you notice her do it. She just looks away, like you caught her staring at.
Flora will go over there and just stand in front of Regia expectantly.
She watches you approach, and then when you get within a certain distance from her, she just stands up a bit straighter, looks down at you because you are shorter than her. She just stares at you and kind of gives you a haughty look, like she's not impressed with you trying to stare her down. And then
I'll
she
stand there and wait and wait for her to do something, because I now know that she's waiting for something from us as well, or about to find out something about us.
Mm-hmm. She looks at you and then she looks around to the group, and then she nods towards that area in the back where that light is coming from. It seems to be another section of the cave that leads further in. She definitely has a look like, shall we continue?
Flora will look at the others.
Cade has no idea what's going on. He will continue.
Nice. Do you all go into the back area, or just some of you?
Isra will be watching Kalim first and foremost to see if that, I guess, trance is shattered.
I think until someone pulls him out of it. He's kind of
I
stuck.
think so too. I think he definitely, because of the feelings that he's having, because of the fact that he feels so connected in here, he's just unable to really just pull himself out of that.
Okay. When I look back, is Flora facing me? Yeah, because you said you looked.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing Cade walk forward, I'll just sort of gesture for you to follow. And I'll pat Kalim's shoulder and sort of like turn him so that we can start moving again. And
Flora
walk
sees, I think, that Kalim is in this trance too, and will take his hand and just sort of hold his hand and walk him forward as well.
Okay. I think in that moment then, as soon as Flora takes Kalim's hand, that's enough to kind of shake him loose a little bit, and he becomes lucid and aware, probably even in a more heightened state than previous, because now there is fear that has been added to his normal perception. And can only do this once per day, but I think it's worth it in this moment. He's going to cast Detect Thoughts, which he can do once per day without any components.
Okay.
So no one sees him do this. He just casts Detect Thoughts. I'm not going deep on anyone yet. Potentially Regia. But superficial thoughts in this moment. So I'm curious, since Flora touched Kalim's hand, I think that's the most likely candidate for him to receive thoughts of first.
Okay.
So what are Flora's initial thoughts?
Flora is still kind of mulling over this interaction she had with Regia. So that's kind of the surface, and wondering what Regia is looking for. Flora, I think, as she went over to Kalim, also noticed the needle that's now kind of tucked to his shirt, and there's a flash of something there, and I don't know how much Kalim catches of that, but recognition and
Are you trying to hide the fact that you recognize this needle as well?
No, not at all.
Okay. Then I think Kalim just notices, because his perceptions are redonkulously high. So I think he just sees. Yeah, Kalim, you see her look to you tenderly like a friend. She notices the needle, and it's perceptible as if she had spoken. She knows what it is too.
Okay. Then I think he will telepathically tell Flora, we will talk about this once we are free of this place. If you think to me, I can hear your thoughts now. We can communicate in this way. Why are you concerned about Regia?
She's looking for information about us. That's why she brought us here.
Okay. Tell me when, and I will take her head.
Flora will nod and just sort of pat him on the chest.
He just squeezes her hand and lets her lead him forward, holding his sword. Sword is actually kind of dragging against the floor of the cave.
Okay. Again, no sound as you all make your way through the dank, dark cave towards that light in the back. Regia actually steps over so that she is walking beside you, slightly ahead of you, and she moves around the corner towards that purplish light. And as she does, she moves forward in a way, all the shadows seem to just flow off of her. She's no longer hidden in the dark of the room as she is illuminated by the light. And as she steps forward, you see she stops and she looks within the room, and she looks back to all of you, looks back in towards the room, and just stands and lets all of you approach if you want.
What are her surface thoughts?
Her surface thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
Her surface thoughts are very, very faint. It would seem that she maybe has ways against her surface thoughts being read, but because you casted a spell, she is, you have very faint surface thoughts that she is, I think the best word I want to use here is that she is patiently waiting for something to happen.
Okay.
And there is a slight feeling as she sees you focusing on her. There is a slight feeling almost as if she is afraid to be discovered. Her eyes flash towards Flora just slightly.
Then I will telepathically tell Cade she is afraid. Be mindful of that.
Cade can't respond, correct?
Technically he can, he just doesn't know he can.
Right.
He can think, or
Well,
he
then
can
he
think
won't.
his response. So if you feel like Cade would think of a response and
Yeah.
then be like, God
Yeah,
damn
he'd
it,
be
I wish
like,
I could
oh,
say
she's
that.
afraid. We're all afraid.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid. Y'all are talking. It's like I don't hear anybody. You know, it's like she's not the only one who's afraid. I think we're all gonna die. I don't know. It's like
And
don't
when
show fear.
and
Don't
when
show
he
fear.
does that, Kalim will say, "We are not going to die, my friend."
Oh crap. We're good. They're like, oh shit. It's like, oh, he'll like look back and just like catch eyes with you, just nod. It's like, oh shit. And he's just like, think of something else. Think of something else. Margaret
It's
Thatcher and the
okay,
Cold
you
Day.
don't
Margaret
have
Thatcher
to
and the
think
Cold
of
Day.
this is not that time in the tent. It's fine. I don't need to. Just because I can hear things doesn't mean you have to. It's okay.
Right. So as you've all moved forward closer towards that light, you move past Regia. She just stands there watching expectantly as the four of you go. As you turn around the corner, you look within the room that is beyond, and what you see is the faint light seems to come from nowhere and everywhere at the same time. And as your eyes begin to adjust to this bright light now from this area, you can see that there are shapes that begin to emerge out of the light. They are strewn about the room, the walls, the ceiling. Bodies, you notice, that hang at irregular angles from the stalactites, splayed out from poles that reach out of the wall. No, not poles, some sort of strange spines, large giant needles that seem to be almost like quills that stick out of the walls themselves. These bodies, you all notice, are all pale, androgynous forms that seem to be in various states of decay, would be the best word, but they're not decayed like you would typically think of a body being decayed. These bodies just seem to be more, some less, withered, desiccated almost. It would seem that some of them seem to be freshly killed, others seem to have been here for a bit, husks of bodies that once existed. And because, I would say, Flora, you were born in the blood domain, you were raised in the blood domain until your mother risked her life to allow you to escape, you recognize vampires when you see them. Cade, you have fought these creatures before as well. You recognize them immediately too. These are vampires, not the Hijlaki, you notice, not the high vampires that would be a lot more difficult to kill. These are typical vampires that apparently have been rounded up and have been displayed here like trophies. So this could perhaps be why the vampires and the Hijlaki fear this creature so much. As you had previously learned from Regia, apparently it is in fact hunting them. And you would guess there's at least 3 dozen in here.
Cade will actively think of whether or not this creature is our enemy then. I mean,
Right?
is it, which side is it really? I mean, because vampires are his chosen enemy, and I am just now walking into a literal tomb of vampires that are obviously not in a good state.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm curious if we can tell if any of them are alive and being like drained of whatever the equivalent of a vampire's life essence might be.
Interesting. Okay. Anybody who would like to please make an investigation roll?
I will use my passive of 23.
Okay.
And I have if I use like an intelligence check or information, I get an advantage.
You do. Yeah.
I can tell if it's alive or dead because they're my favorite enemy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
22.
Thank you.
13.
Mine was like 11, so
Okay.
Oh, Deb.
She's young.
That's it. That's
okay.
it.
Oh, you broke out the real dice and they still screwed
Ooh,
you.
nice.
no, this was D&D Beyond. After
Oh,
that
okay.
roll, I was like, all right,
That's
it's real
it.
dice.
It's real
The
dice
guns
time.
put away. Time for some clickety clacks. I will say, Cade, that even though you are just overwhelmed by all that you're seeing in here, because they are your favorite enemy, because you have hunted these creatures many a time before, you do know that they do seem to be the ones that are extremely withered and husky looking. Definitely seem to be ones that are dead. They've been sucked dry, I guess you could say. And Kalim, as you're looking, this is where you'll notice as well that it does seem to be that these vampires are being drained of some sort of life essence, some sort of power within them, some sort of, for lack of a better term, soul is being removed from them. And it would seem that even though they are all dead, it would definitely seem that the amount of decay is definitely corresponding with that. So some of them look to be newer, and some, like I said, seem to be like they've been drained for quite a bit. It would seem that the quills, however, are just holding them there. That's not what's draining them. And as you look closer, you all see, as you're investigating, even you, Flora, you'll see that they all have what looks to be a deep wound from just below their throat to just about mid-sternum that seems to have some sort of unnatural bruising around it. Bruising that would be reminiscent of something from the wound being sucked on. So apparently this creature is the vampire for the vampires. But luckily, you all think the vampire hunting creature doesn't seem to be here, because this room where these bodies are being found seems to be the end of the cave area.
Would knowledge of how these vampires are and having fought this creature in the past, would it be feasible to think that this creature only feeds on vampires and non-vampires are not a threat because we are not yummy and undead?
Go ahead and make a Arcana check, please.
That would be an 8.
It's an intelligence-based check, so don't you have advantage on that because it's related to your
That is
favored
correct.
whatever?
Yes. Nice.
15.
Hey,
Okay,
that's way
that's a
better.
little better.
A little
That's a little better. Yeah. You're not sure, to be honest. It's definitely, you can tell that it's feeding on the vampires. You're not sure. From the time you fought it before, you remember this creature when it emerged from a meteor that slammed into Serathis, exploding dark, charred members of alien molten earth across the ground nearby, that when it raged, it did slay villagers and commoners and people alike. It seemed to have no sort of problem killing people. It didn't seem to be feeding on them then, but it was simply in a rage, so maybe it just didn't have time to yet. So
Gotcha.
you're not entirely
Cade
sure.
will subconsciously rub on the 2 bite-shaped scars on his neck. Subconsciously.
Absolutely. So, after a moment of you all standing here, Regia watching you again, Flora, you'll notice as you look back to see she's just standing there against the wall, watching you intently. Again, trying to figure something out with her impassive look on her face. She'll actually just turn and start to leave the cave unless any of you do anything.
I'm going to go deep on the detect thoughts with her.
Okay.
17 wisdom save.
Her surface thoughts give you that she is disappointed. She didn't see what she was hoping to see. But she also then has a flicker of her being a bit hopeful, because now she knows you'll all go there. And then she steps out of range as she's leaving
So
the cave.
did she resist the deep thought then?
Nope, she failed.
Okay. All right.
She's guarding her thoughts from any sort of specific detail. She's thinking just in general. She's not like thinking about the details about what's going on, if that makes sense.
Okay. She would have known that I did that as well, if that causes any reaction.
Nope, that's fine. She knows. And as the 4 of you are left standing there, she crosses out and she exits out to the outside. The 4 of you stand there looking at each other for a moment, wondering what this revelation might be and what it might mean. Is there anything else you guys would like to do in the cave?
Isra is so overwhelmed and confused right now. Seeing the person who brought them here just dip. There's a lot happening right in front of us. She's a bit emotionally fucked right now. And so she doesn't really know what to do, but just sort of like glances between each of her companions frantically.
Yep.
Flora will take the doll and just tuck it into one of Isra's pockets for comfort.
I don't think I need detect thoughts to know that one.
Right. Yeah.
You know what? It's a feeling that is like it creeps her out, right? It's uneasy and everything.
Of course,
but I think the gesture of it, that like acknowledgement that they're just sort of still joking and stuff, I think that actually does comfort her a little bit.
Good.
She does not show that though.
Of course not. Yes, of course not. A picture of determination, you do not. Yeah. Anything else anybody wants to do here?
I have a lot that I want to do as a player, but I don't think Kalim would be in any state to do those things.
Sure, absolutely.
So I think he's just kind of still holding Flora's hand in this moment and waiting for her to direct him, as it were.
Cool.
And we've detected that some of these vampires, some of them, are still alive, so to speak. I mean, they're undead, but they're still like they
Kicking.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if it's the appropriate term, but like
Right.
conscious.
For all intents and purposes, all the vampires here would be basically, because they're not living. Yeah, you're right. But all the vampires here, they're basically dead. They're not still alive. They're
Not.
alive. You know, they're not they're not functional, I guess you could say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's none that, because if there were, then Kate, seeing that it is a favorite enemy, he would put them out of their misery if they were half eaten or even if it is a favored enemy, there's still a respect that it would still take them down. But if they're not, he's still examining the ceiling to see where this creature, if this is the creature's lair, it obviously enters from a point. It's obviously very humid in here. There must be a source of humidity, some sort of water source, something. How does this creature, is there another way into this lair than the way we came in?
Right.
Anything, any kind of clues from if the vampires put up a fight, if there are anything dropped, any kind of insignias or amulets or anything to identify who these vampires are. And he would be able to tell if any kind of struggle happened or if they were incapacitated and then dragged into the lair.
Shout out to Radiant Rosie, by the way, for the term unanimated.
Unanimated.
To describe.
Love it. Nice. Canon. So yes, as you're looking around, Cade, you're going to see that yes, definitely most of the vampires here, they have signs of struggle upon them. They seem to be distressed. They seem to have what would be the equivalent of vampire bruising on maybe parts of their arm or their faces or whatever. You can see that there is that slash, as I mentioned, on the neck and sternum area. You can see more closely now that it's actually some sort of wound from something stabbing in and tearing it open. This is similar to actually a vampire's fang, but actually on a much larger scale. And you can see that there's no distinguishing marks. There doesn't seem to be any sort of like insignia or specialty clothing on any of these vampires that are in here. It does look like they are, you can tell by just the way that their features are, you can tell that some of them are higher, more evolved vampires, some are more newer spawn type vampires. Basically, they are from all different walks of vampire unlife, as it were. Different castes are in here. It's not like it's just aristocratic vampires or just low-ranking vampires or anything like that.
Gotcha. She's not gonna be like Smith family.
Right.
Also Smith family.
Yes. Yeah. No, nothing.
Got it. Full range. Got it. Okay. And no other ways into this chamber of the cave.
Just the way that you all came in is apparently the only way in or out. The moisture in here doesn't seem to have any sort of detectable source.
But the blood was fresh.
It was.
Given the spot of memories that have sort of come back to Isra and of that day, does anything strike her as familiar with regard to the creature that she had previously fought and now is presumably in their space again? She doesn't know how, but would anything sort of kick around up there?
Definitely, you get the same feeling that Cade did. You recognize the claw marks, the size of it, knowing that it would have to be something specifically that big. And without a doubt, it's got to be the same creature, if not the one that you all killed on that fateful day when a tailor and his wife were lost in an attack on a city. There could be another one. You hope it's not another one.
Okay. Cool.
Flora, anything you want to do in here?
Without the use of her talking, she knows that there's nothing that she can do to make to lay any of this to rest, to make this space better. And she's, I think, frustrated by the fact that there's nothing that she can do here in this place. So she is just gonna take a little bit of she's got like a red skirt somewhere in her belongings. She's gonna just tear a piece of it off because she remembers some of the like red flags at the tavern that they started in, and just sort of tie it into a bow and leave it on the floor as a way of acknowledging that she can't do anything, and there is a lot of travesty that has taken place in this domain.
Okay. If you could, Flora, please just roll a d20 for me.
Sorry, does the monster love ribbon or something? Is that
Everybody likes to feel pretty every once in a while, Beth. I mean, let's get real.
God?
It's 14.
14, okay. I'm making a note for later. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, I love that for you.
14 monsters.
Yeah. Alrighty. And after a moment, you all eventually exit back outside. You find Regia is standing, just watching the countryside, waiting for you all. And as the last of you exit out, do you feel satisfied now that you've investigated long enough?
No. Not at all.
I do not think we were the ones investigating here.
Oh?
It seems that you are the one who brought us here for a purpose. You are looking for something.
Of course, child. I told you what I was looking for. I was trying to find the Great Dark, earn my reward. I was willing to split it with all of you, as I said. I had to test you to make sure you had the proper metal to take down such a creature. I didn't think it would be here. It's out roaming the countryside doing whatever it is it does, but I do know that there's a certain effect in there that those faint of heart probably would not be able to move around as freely as you all did. So clearly, you're all supposed to be here doing this. Or did you mean something different?
I think you were looking for more than that, but what it is, I don't know.
Well, everyone has their secrets, child.
Indeed.
There is a tense moment between the two of you that everybody notices. And to your surprise, it is Regia who turns away first. Shall we continue on? We have a few more hours until we reach the City of Spires.
Isra will rush past her, fully giving her a bump, and just say, "I don't trust you," and keep walking.
She smiles. She's intrigued by that. And what about you, Sir Cade? Do you trust me?
Cade says nothing but continues to walk and will follow.
Okay. So, you all reconvene. You make your way back towards the carriages where you left your driver, David, as well as the steed, Luna, who is there as well. And as you approach, you find David is sitting atop the carriage. He is looking about tentatively. You can see that he's got his petticoat pulled up around his neck, like maybe he's caught a chill. And as he sees all of you approaching, "Oh, yes, hello. I trust you found everything that you were looking for."
We don't really know,
Oh,
but we're glad you're here.
oh, thank you. I'm glad to be of service, of course. There was something strange that happened when you all were gone. Master Kalim asked me to let you know if there was anything that I noticed that was out of the ordinary, and so I wanted to let you know that specifically there was someone who I think was watching me as I sat here. I'm not sure what exactly it was that they were doing. They didn't make their presence known. I thought about calling out to them, but to be honest, I was compelled not to. It was a weird feeling. It was almost as though, if I knew that I said something to them, it would be dangerous for me. Is that okay that I didn't let you down, did I?
No, not at all.
Okay.
This is fine. we are here now and you're safe.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Are we to be traveling onward then to the city proper? Or...
Yes.
Okay.
This is our plan.
Excellent. Well, Sir Elios, you will find that your steed has been well taken care of. Luna, she was not spooked or had any concern herself. Very well.
Cade will take off his helmet and nod at David for his service. You mentioned you felt like you were being watched. Did you see anything? Or was it just like a tingling of the spine? It was just a feeling.
You know, that's strange. I don't remember. I apologize, Sir Elios.
All right. Did the horses react at all?
No, no, the horses were fine. Both the two drawing the carriage as well as Luna, everyone was fine. No problems at all.
Can I still feel my Death Ward spell active on this man?
Yep. Yeah, he seems to be safe. He seems to be secure. He just seems to have noticed something and now doesn't remember what it was. There's a number of different things that could cause an effect like this. Doesn't seem to be anything too out of the ordinary, but you all are a bit on edge, so maybe it's cause for alarm. You're not sure.
It does seem like every single person is on edge, so.
Okay.
Everyone. Except for Redia. So, well, I will mount my horse, and wait for instructions of where this City of Spires.
Okay. All right. So
Flame just piles into the back of the carriage.
Okay. Not going to summon Nocturne this time. You're going to just ride?
Yeah.
Okay. And as you all pile into the carriage or atop Luna, David cracks the reins and you all head out. And as you head out, it is Kalim. Your eyes follow the cave as it goes off into the distance, wondering what exactly it is that still eludes you out of your memory. You find yourself inexplicably fiddling with the needle that is fished through your lapel. And as you all make your way closer to the City of Spires, outside, because you are traveling atop Luna, you will see that the countryside out here continues to remain semi-forested. There is a path that you're all taking that is leading to the city. As you get closer and closer to the City of Spires, Cade, you'll notice that it is becoming more and more urbanized. There's less trees, less grass, more of areas that are more cultivated. You can see that it's starting to become more of a cityscape here. And as you draw even closer, what you see is that the City of Spires ahead of you, as it starts to draw into view about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours later, is that the City of Spires specifically is a vast array of tall spired buildings, hence the name City of Spires. There are several different buildings around here that are a dark red color, almost as if they're made out of bricks that are a deep, dark burgundy type red. And as you see all of this, you can see that there are individuals and figures moving about the streets as well. They all move with a manner that is not entirely a natural gait, you notice. They seem to move a little bit more lithely. They seem to move a little bit more practiced. These aren't commoners or maybe even human. And as you see the way they glide about, and you start to see the way that their skin is paler than normal, more pale than Karevi flesh, as you are used to seeing from Isra, being a member of that race, you would know instinctively, because of your favored enemy, that these are in fact vampires. You know that you are drawing closer. And as you're drawing closer, in the back of the carriage, Kalim, your thoughts drift back from the cave to the memories that you don't have, to Isra as she sits next to you within the carriage. Regia sits across from you, staring out the window of the carriage, seemingly not interested in what you all are worried about, as Flora sits next to her. Is there anything you wanted to say or do in this moment?
Yeah, I think actually Kalim probably would have positioned himself next to Regia, on the ready that she were to do something
Okay,
and he
that's
wouldn't
fine, yeah,
want Flora to be. I mean, close proximity is a hard to avoid in the back of a carriage, but
Right, yeah.
and I think as he is touching the needle, he's just looking into the eyes of Istra, seemingly questioningly.
You you see in her eyes a heaviness from being in that place and picking up memories of her own. And you've traveled long enough with her to recognize a lot of like shame on her face. And you can also tell that she wants to look anywhere but you, but she won't pull her eyes away. And so she just watches you watching her. And yeah, she won't be the first to speak.
Olim will look over at Regia and then look back at Istra, and he will cast Detect Thoughts. And then he will telepathically reach out to Istra and say, I know you don't like this, but I can hear your thoughts. If you wish to talk in a way that company might not hear. If you do not, please say so, and I will end the spell.
You hear almost like static, but you're able to pick up through it like just the hum of racing thoughts. But you are able to hear through that very clearly her voice just saying, not now.
And he will turn to Flora and telepathically say, I am ready for the instructions of dealing with this woman when you tell me.
I think we need a little more information from her.
He'll just nod, and then he will end the Detect Thoughts spell.
Am I sitting next? No, you're sitting next to
I'm sitting next to Regia, you're sitting next to Flora.
Regia.
Yeah, so we'll
Okay.
say the two of you are sitting across from one another.
I would like to, if you'll allow me, use sleight of hand to slip the doll from my pocket back into Flora's either like bag or pocket, whatever.
As soon as you touch it, it starts screaming.
Like she's going to pick it up. It screams and she just like throws it
bounces
in the
around
air.
the interior of the carriage, smacking a few times till eventually Regia catches it and looks at you. Are you children done playing yet? And she'll hand it to you, Flora, as it continues to scream.
I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. I was just going to slip it back in your... Oh, gosh. Is it okay?
I think so. Did it give you comfort?
No. Not at all.
Maybe
But I
next
liked it.
time.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Flora will look at Regia and say, I think you could stand to play more.
I play plenty, child. I play plenty. And she looks out like she's looking for something. You should quiet that doll. We're approaching the city now.
As soon as Flora took it back, it stopped.
Okay. Outside Cade, you continue to ride along. You look over to David. He's just stoic, sitting there, that pleasant kind of manner about him as he's driving the horses forward on the carriage. You atop Luna, you are coming into the City of Spires. Looking around, as I mentioned, you see all of these different spires, these different buildings, and the vampire who walk along the interior of the space here. And something that you notice that directly calls to your attention here as you look ahead is that there is here within the City of Spires a large, massive obelisk that stands up, a giant spear that stands up in the center of the city itself. There is a large 120-foot radius area around it that is void of any sort of buildings, any sort of constructs, any sort of actual people. You'll notice too, everyone's giving this thing a wide berth. Not out of fear, not out of distaste, but rather out of reverence. What you look to see is this large spire, this obelisk that stands up out of the ground, is festooned with hundreds upon thousands of bones, body parts of various foes, people who would dare go against the vampires, against the Hejlaki, and their power here are formed into this large obelisk. And you have heard tales of the obelisk of the vanquished, but you have never seen it before. It lives up to the standard that you had heard before. It is, as the legend told, a massive column of body parts of slain slaves and those who would try to go against the power here. It's a warning as well as a promise that any sort of going against the Hejlaki and the court will be dealt with swiftly. And you see one last thing of note as you approach, that there is a series of newer bodies at the base of the obelisk, all tied together, their arms partially behind them with their hands tied together. Newer bodies, partially flayed skin of several young women around the exterior of the rim of this obelisk. Young ladies that perhaps were previously taken from Tarash and that you were not able to come to the aid of yet.
Cade will kick his horse and start to increase speed.
Okay. As you ride forward, you get a closer look at these young women. You can see that among their number, there are 6 different young women at this point. Now, you recall from dealing with Gregor that there were, for the last 5 months, there have been tributes taken from the city. 4 young women each time. The last month, his daughter, Natalia, being a 5th one that was taken out of the crowd rather than from the tribute block that you all encountered last time. You see from all the young ladies here that none of them are half-orc, which would be what you are looking for Natalia, so there is at least that solace. But unfortunately, these young women here are not being respected. They're just another warning sign that this is how things are. And as you move forward, you'll see that there are several different vampire guardsmen, you would guess, by the way they're garbed, are standing around. They are beautiful people, you actually notice. They're all androgynous in their look, dark to light-colored hair, an array. They are wearing dark armor that is very sleek, very sophisticated. It almost has a draconic look to it. There is a symbol upon the center of their chest, coincidentally, where that gouge would be on the bodies back in the cave. That actually is a symbol of the city here that you have seen before on the lapel of the mayor, Borand, who you dealt with last time. It is a weighed scale with a blood red ruby in the center of it. And you know that you have arrived in the City of Spires, and you are simply on yet another footstep on the path to find Natalia before it's too late. You all look around knowing that you are one step closer, and as you look around, your eyes are all immediately drawn to a building that you know you have been warned about. The building that these young women are taken to, about 300 feet away from the obelisk itself, a tall spire in its own right, a tower made of deep, dark red stone. And the mortar, you notice, is red, fresh, and smells coppery. And with that, let's take a small break, shall we? Let's go and take a step back. Let's all take 5 minutes. Let's refreshen our drinks, not blood, please. And let's go ahead and just relax for a moment. And we'll come back. We'll get back into a little bit more investigations here. So we'll see you all shortly. Thank you so much for being here so far. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so very much for taking a break. Enjoying so far? You know what? Let's dive back in. As you recall, if you are just coming in halfway, that's cool. Welcome. You will remember that our players here are a group of heroes that are on a quest to find a young woman who has been captured by vampire overlords of this area, known as the Blood Domain. The young woman in question, a half-orc named Natalia, has had her father ask them to find her. They have arrived in the City of Spires, where this young woman has been taken along with some other young women. They unfortunately have just found some of these young women. They did not make it out so well. So now our heroes know the time is of the essence, and we need to get to the bottom of things. They are traveling with an elven huntress by the name of Regia. She is a member of the Great Hunt, trying to find the Great Dark, which is a creature that may have previous ties to our party before the campaign started. So with that being said, let's go ahead and oh, hey, thank you, Radiant Rosie, for subscribing. You're awesome. We appreciate you. We're on a subscriber rush right now, so you rock. Thank you so much. Cool. All right, so in this moment, you all are in Town Center Square, as it were. You look around, you can see the obelisk of the Vanquished, as we mentioned. You can also see that around there are various vampire aristocrats and low common vampires as well. You do see that there is the occasional person walking around who definitely is not a vampire, for they are chained or leashed, you'll notice, and being dragged or pushed along by their vampire overlords. As you all are standing around, there is more than a few of the vampires here that look around. I would say, let me ask, have any of you encountered the Hijlaki before, the high vampires that are different than typical vampires, do you think? Maybe Cade, what do you think?
I would think that he has, yes.
Okay. So you know the Hijlaki are different than regular vampires. They are stronger, faster, and they have certain weaknesses that typical vampires have that they're not privy to. This makes them extremely hard to oppose. And they also look slightly different. They have a elongated look to their features. They have a strange ridge-like appendage. Their foreheads are very pronounced. This doesn't make them ugly, however. They still are beautiful and attractive, as it were, because they have an unnatural grace and beauty to them, even though they are monstrous. The Hijlaki also are known to be very aristocratic, very territorial, and so because of that, you would know if any of them were around. Currently, there is not, so this might be a good sign for you. As you all are standing there with your carriage, there is 3 individuals who step forward. Again, they are tall, lithe. They are all wearing the same dark armor with a symbol emblazoned upon the sternum. They have an androgynous look to them. They are, again, attractive and welcoming until they speak. The center one has raven dark hair, and they look up to you. What exactly is your business here? You are not from the City of Spires.
Is there any way to roll some sort of intelligence or insight to know, since these vampires are a favored enemy, knowing how their society works, knowing the class system, of, as someone who hunts them, the best way to kind of like walk amongst them until combat is ready, you know, kind of like, hey, I'm in this knoll den and I will strike when I'm ready, and I know how to sneak in. And sometimes being stealthy is walking into a place as if you belong there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you definitely, especially you, out of the party, would know things about this. So Cade, if you could go ahead, make me an intelligence check. I'm going to give you advantage. We'll just do straight intelligence. Do you have any proficiencies in any of the intelligence skills, like knowledges, basically?
Not in knowledge, just perception, stealth, survival.
Okay, that's fine. Just go and make it an intelligence check at advantage, please, because they are your favorite enemy.
I forgot to click on the advantage, but I'll just roll twice. Let's
No
see. The highest one is 19.
19. Okay. Yeah, you are aware that there definitely is, especially among the Hijlaki, but with vampires in general, they do see themselves as higher than those who are not part of the blood, those who are not blessed by being vampires. So they definitely would expect you, if you are not a vampire, to be subservient, to be gracious of the fact that they are your overlords, and to basically cow down to them. However,
Is there... Oh, sorry,
you can know that you have, I would say, posed as one of their numbers before due to the way that you know them so well. I think, and you're very charismatic, I think you probably could try to maybe persuade them that you are supposed to be here. I mean, they're going to know if they do a deep look at you, because you're not going
Right.
to look like a vampire. But
Exactly. Well, I think that Kate's smart enough not to really kind of pose as a vampire. I mean, maybe Cullen would probably have a better chance due to his demeanor, but
yes,
if they just went off appearance and not charisma, of course, because that's like
of course.
a rock.
I mean, Klim also technically doesn't have a pulse.
That's true, too.
So,
I mean, so
if
what
you-
I'm thinking
if
is
you
we're going to
wanted-
go the Star Wars route, where we're going to go that Kalim's the vampire and I am their servant. Like I know that due to, like, if somebody has like bonded with you, or you are its like feeding servant, that no other vampire can harm you because you belong to another vampire. Does that exist in this society?
Absolutely. I think that absolutely is part of the factional rules here for sure.
And
Yeah.
since I do have a scar of a bite mark that does look like I have been fed upon, I
Yes.
think that will kind of naturally work. So I am going to pose as someone that knows Vampire Society, but also know I am protected because I am somebody's, I don't know,
Brawl.
I'm a knight, so I'm thinking squire, but it's like somebody's, not prodigy, someone of progeny, or
Yeah,
Brawl.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
thrall, sex
thrall,
slave, whatever we want to
Sex
call
slave.
it.
Nice. Nice.
Just-
Now we're
but I am owned by somebody of them, and therefore I am untouchable.
Adrian,
Unless
you're
I
not
go out.
channeling yourself too much into the character, are you?
Oh, hey now.
Ah, ding 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 ding. No. So I will
Well,
just
excuse
kind of.
us all for a moment. We're gonna take another quick break. No, I was kidding.
I will. Cade will show no fear, but as if like, why are you disturbing me? Why are you
Yeah.
interrupting my day with your silly, stupid questions? And we'll look kind of like, yes, I will be obedient, but with disdain, like, oh yes, good evening. We're here on official business. We're looking for someone. Can you please step aside?
Where is your overlord?
My overlord is not to be disturbed and is in the carriage. If you have official business, you will speak it with me.
This figure steps forward, very menacingly. You will report me to your overlord at once. Cade, please make a wisdom saving throw.
We gonna die. Okay. That would be an 8.
You feel very compelled to do such a thing.
Oh, damn it.
Now, you're not dominated or anything like that. You just feel very, very compelled to do such a thing.
I will take you to Jabba now. Okay. I'm like, all right, sure. You're like, we'll ride this way. And he will turn on his horse, look over to David, and he'll give him that look like, that's right. Get ready to use that sword. And
Oh, yes,
We'll go-
the magical rapier that you stole from the vampire lord. Yeah,
of course,
yes.
you know, Oh, because it'd have been funny if I took him to David and had him pretend to be They'd be like,
That
here
would
you
be
go.
amazing.
Here is your moment.
Poor David.
He'd be like, yes, hi.
They just
Where'd
rip
you
his
get
head
that
right
sword?
off, you know.
It's my sword. I was like,
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll go up to the carriage. What are you, the City Watch? The City Watch would like to speak to you, sir. And I say sir in a specific way, so there's only one sir inside, so.
And plus, Kalim being ever so vigilant in your perception, you heard every single thing that was just said, so you know exactly what's going on.
We're gonna go get help. We're
I
playing
should
get
mention,
help.
those who are joining us for the first time tonight, his passive perception is a 24. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
Passive
why I'm just giving him stuff.
Perception 24,
Yeah.
Investigation 23, Insight 19.
So you can hear my heartbeat through my chest.
Right.
on a normal day, yeah. Yeah, so I think Kalim will sigh heavily and then step out from the carriage. I think telepathically he will look to Isra, and telepathically he will say, I think I'm going to need you, and then step out of the carriage towards Cade.
Isra's immediately on guard. She will not jump out of the carriage just yet, but she'll be ready to.
As Kalim exits the carriage, or even shows himself, I will Cade will dismount and show the proper respect that one does to their master.
Okay.
Glenn
Cade,
will
go-
not look at
go-
Cade in this moment. I don't think out of any attempt at subterfuge or anything, more that he's just watching these three individuals that are currently posing the most obvious threat to his companions.
Okay. I would like one of the two of you to please make a deception check at advantage.
Would you like me to do that, Adrian, or would you like to do that?
I think you try, because I'm bowing with my head down, so spotlight's on you.
All right.
Good luck.
I'm going to definitely use my knowledge from a past life ability.
Okay.
Allows me to add a d6 to this, and
Mhm.
hopefully I roll really good. I got a total of 12.
Total of 12.
Total of 12.
Okay.
I have a plus 12.
That's why I said I needed you. Why did you?
Where
What were you
are you?
thinking?
Oh,
The whole
it's
plan.
okay. Don't worry about
You know
it.
what? You're definitely
It's
doing
gonna
the
be
whole.
fine.
You're definitely doing the whole Wookiee prisoner gag. It's a different prisoner than you thought. As you step down out of the carriage, the center figure, the one with the raven black hair, looks. Is this some sort of joke?
Are you not
Who are
laughing?
you? You will answer me immediately.
Why?
Why?
Yes, why would I wish to answer you immediately?
Because you are interlopers into the City of Spires. Those who walk around untethered.
We are here because there was a request to hunt the Great Dark. Is that not true? Were we lied to? Are your people so ill-confused that you would not recognize people such as us to come into a place such as this and not have reason?
What is your name, interloper?
My name is Kalim. What is yours?
As this figure goes to speak, you hear Regia's voice from the carriage. They are with me. I have asked them to aid me in my endeavors. As you know, I have been sent out by the Countess to make sure that the Great Dark is dealt with before she finds the young woman she's looking for. Do you wish to doubt me? The guards person looks to Regia, and seeing her takes a step to just back, not out of fear or anything like that, just takes a step back to kind of survey the group of you a little more clearly. You have been given a royal pardon, it is true, Regia Swiftstrider. If they are with you, then we are forced to believe you. As the Countess's personal hunter, we know that you are bound to not lie to us. Go in peace, the guards person says, and steps out of your way.
Cade will stand and be like, that's what I thought.
That's right, bitch. No.
Right.
If she
All right.
steps out of the way, Kalim will step back to the carriage and gesture a hand towards Isra.
Isra will she'll hop out and just sort of look at him and say, "Do you need me now?"
He just holds his hand there.
She's ready. She's focused.
Right.
She's being called up.
And then
Cade will stick his head into the carriage and be like, when were you going to tell us you work for the Countess? Redia.
It didn't come up.
Oh, it didn't come up.
I mean, she did
Going back to
imply
the course.
it. She just didn't say it. Kalim will then gesture a hand towards Flora.
Flora will, she's got a cloak and she's gonna put it on and put the hood up to kind of stay a little bit, not quite so obviously herself.
Sure. Yeah. As you step out, you put up your cloak and you hide away your willowy features, your very fair hair, the fact that your face is all painted up in this dance macabre, skeletal type of way. And as you step out of the carriage, you get a sound from the dance macabre that jingles across the air. It's a familiar sound that you haven't heard in a very long time. It is a distant sound that sounds like bells on the breeze, a wind chime, people might call this sound. It's very comforting. It's very beautiful, actually, typically. But when you hear that sound that you always heard when your mother was around, it sounds like it's slightly distorted. It sounds like it's slightly muted. You can tell that your mother is here within the city, but somehow you're not able to hear her the way you normally would.
Flora's eyes immediately fill with tears. And she knows that she needs to stay fairly inconspicuous at this moment. But everything in her wants to follow the sound of the bells.
Of course.
I think Kalim, seeing that reaction from Flora, which is probably new to him generally for being in such a state, assuming she's not trying to hide that, is she?
No.
Okay. Kalim will simply step close to her, hesitate for a moment just because she's not tall, right? He's significantly taller than her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just put one arm to her shoulder, give a bit of a squeeze, and he subconsciously kind of allows his shadow and his presence to mask her slightly, drawing more attention to himself and away from her.
Yeah. You kind
Isra watches
Oh.
with something that you might describe as a wistfulness at that interaction.
Definitely. There's a lot of memories that are playing across everyone right now. And as the shadows from Kalim's mastery over the dark, being a cleric of darkness. He is going to actually envelop you, an embrace, a hug that kind of protects you in this moment as you all start to step a little bit further past the guards people as they stand there watching you. Excuse me. As you hear the distant sound of that wind chime, Flora, you have a memory again, a memory that's been kind of rushing to the surface this entire time that you've been on this journey to go find Natalia, is that you have a memory of being a child, your mother holding you, and her golden hair coming down, tickling your nose a little bit as she rocks you, and you just sit with her and enjoy the moment. And you move that away from the fact that your eyes are full of the tears, as I mentioned, or as you mentioned, rather. You all move past the guards people, and after a moment, they just eventually turn and go about their business, not really feeling the need to intervene anymore.
I did not extend a hand to Reggio.
Okay. Alrighty. So, what is it you guys are hoping to do right now? What's your plan?
I love how you think we have plans.
Hey, I feel compelled to ask,
Well, you mentioned that there was a building that was kind of red.
Yeah, there is a building that is nearby, the obelisk of the vanquished here. That is a tall spire that is basically, looks like it's made out of blood red stone that has mortar that seems to be made out of a reddish, maybe blood kind of color.
And in the
Sounds
center,
like a good place to start.
yeah, I mean the center was filled with the different bodies, and we noticed that there wasn't the person we were looking for there. But so I guess we'll head to the red building.
I mean, you
Okay.
could ask Reggio, who we know
She
to be
would know, wouldn't she?
affiliated with the Countess.
Yeah,
If that's where we're
like-
supposed to go.
You're like, hey, wait a second.
Yes, this is the Countess's tower, her spire, where she resides. This is where she has been carrying out her quest to find a certain young woman who escaped her years ago. It would seem someone tried to take this young woman from her, and she wishes to have her back. And she glances at you again, Flora.
Flora doesn't notice at all because she's got her hood up and she's just like focused on the ground, and she's got her head sort of tucked low.
Okay.
Would we be able to gain audience with the Countess?
In my presence, you probably could. You wish to
He
see
sticks
her.
out. He sticks out an arm.
Well, I can guarantee we'll get in very easily if we offer up one of your companions.
Kalim will just turn towards her, staring at her with nothing but contempt and hatred in his eyes as she says that.
Offer up one of our companions? What would the Countess do to David?
That's actually precisely who I was going to suggest. He doesn't seem to be someone who is fitting and strapping and strong like you, but he could have a purpose here, something besides sitting there handling that sword. You sure you don't want
He has
to?
a purpose. He has great purpose. Whether you see that or not.
Not as far as the Hejlaki are concerned, I will assure you of that.
I don't care about their concerns.
Is there something else we can
Nothing
offer
happens
for
to him.
audience?
Very well. Something else to offer? Well, we could offer up the young woman that she's been looking for.
Is it you?
I think you know what is happening here, don't you? I
Is that
I
why
was
you
a
led
bit
us into
more-
the cave? Is that why you led us to this, for this test? You had to be sure before you brought her here?
In a matter of speaking. You seem surprised. This one, she says, motion towards Kalim, suspected that I was treacherous from the beginning.
To be fair, I think that of most individuals that I see. Because
Well,
most
that sounds right.
individuals that I see are.
Yes. But then it would seem that you are not the brawn here. You are, in fact, the brains. The smartest one here to figure out how to exist within Nier, and especially to exist within the blood domain.
I exist to defend my friends. And I will do so for the eternity that I will live. And I am not afraid to defend them against you.
As we just saw, I'm the only thing that's keeping you alive in here still. Do you really think it'd be wise to throw down against me?
It would not be much of a throw.
Whoa. We don't need to get into any kind of, combat or any kind of violence. We just need an audience. I'm sure you can be quite persuasive, seeing that you have a royal pardon and all, that surely you can get us to see the Countess without any kind of conflict or any kind of sacrifice or...
I knew you would be reasonable about this, Sir Elios. That is exactly why I am so intrigued by you. Follow me. And she'll take your arm that you still have extended. And she begins to lead you all into the interior of this tall red spire.
As he is walking along with Redia, we'll kind of look over to Kalim, and because he doesn't want to talk, but he will just look at him and think strongly and hope he can hear.
Which
and
can't.
it will be like, and he'd be looking at you
Right.
And then his eyes will look over to Flora, and then would give you a wink, and then he'd be like, please be reading this, please be reading this.
Cade, master of subtlety.
Just rolls his eyes like, I don't need telepathy for that. But Kalim will reach down and take Flora's hand and telepathically say to her, shake your head if you do not want to proceed, and we will not go.
Flora considers it for several long seconds, and looks up at him and just says, "We are here for a job. We need to do it. I am afraid, but I will be okay."
Lim will reach into his pocket and pull out a small vial of mostly clear liquid that has tinges of black and tiny speckles of light that float within it. And he will crush it in his hand and let the liquid flow over Flora's hand, and he will cast protection from good and evil on her.
Excellent. You're already enveloped by the shroud that Kalim has put out towards you, so that magic flows through that. And Flora, you do feel that you are somewhat emboldened against any sort of attacks or any sort of dominations or any sort of physical being kind of grasped by the root of the evil that exists in this place. So you take that to heart. And you all enter in, or is there anyone else you want to do first?
Proceeding.
Okay. You all approach the front of this tower, this red keep, as it were, and as you do so, the doors open on their own accord. They're not big enough for the carriage to go through, so you have a moment maybe wondering what exactly it is you should do with David. He just looks to you all and just nods. He climbs down off the carriage and moves forward. So he's gonna just wait inside with you guys. If you don't mind, I don't feel very safe being outside by myself. Special sword aside, of course. Master
He does still
Cade,
have Death Ward. That's going to last a long time.
that's great.
Can I?
He doesn't know
What does
that
Death Ward
is,
do?
If he drops to 0 hit points, he doesn't die.
Perfect.
Once.
I will.
but once, yeah.
I'll pat him on the shoulder and just say, "You are safe with us." And as I pat him, I'll cast Mage Armor on him,
Nice.
so he's got a little some. I don't know what his Dex mod is, but hopefully it
Never
does
cast
something
it
for
on
him.
me.
I love how it's always a staple of D&D that like a character that literally was made up on the spot just to be flavor. You guys love, you support, you believe in David.
Listen,
I'm
it's
just
amazing.
trying to dissuade the notion that I am setting this guy up to be dead.
He's
It's
wearing a
not
red
me.
shirt.
Amazing. All right. And yeah, you all go within. As you step within, you will see that it is an opulent, rounded tower in here. Kind of like a lighthouse type of look. It's got stairs that go around the exterior that lead up to a taller location above. You can see that there are 3 more of the guardsmen in here that look just like the ones outside, similarly garbed. They have a similar look as well. And they see as you all step within, they are wearing the same type of armor, except they all have where that symbol is on the chest. There is the red gem. It's got a couple of different embellishments around it, maybe marking some sort of rank or something like that. And they all just notice you approach, and they all look to Regia, who just gives them a smile and a nod as if to say that you all are supposed to be here. And you all move your way across the room. As you do, Kalim, you notice that there is something that catches your eye, something really strange, really something out of place in here. Because in here it's very posh, it's very opulent looking. There's a settee, there's different types of bar and thing off to the side. Something that looks very unique in here is a rustic wind chime that hangs off to the one side.
Okay.
You all cross through the room, and as you do, 2 of the 3 of these guardsmen cross over. They shut the giant doors behind you all, and they motion for David to take a seat on one of the settees here. And Regia looks to them, and the guards people just look back to you all. Nothing will happen to your servant while you meet with the Countess.
Very good. Cade will walk over slightly over to David, look down upon him, be like, we're about to go in. If anything happens out here, you know, do what's best for you and your children. Now, if you're waiting out here and it's been a good amount of time, it's been about an hour and you don't hear from us, you come save me. Just kidding. Take the sword and get out of here if you have to.
I won't let you down, Master Cade. You can count on me. Yeah.
He'll place a hand on his shoulder, give him a nod.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Be safe.
All right. Looking over to Redia, shall we?
Of course. She looks back to Flora one more time before you all begin to mount the stairs and climb upward. As you do climb the stairs, Flora, you hear somewhere from within this building that distant wind chime sound. It was somewhat muffled before. Now you hear it a little bit clearer. Your mother is in this building.
Is Kalim still holding her hand?
Yes.
She immediately grabs it tightly.
We'll just return the squeeze. Telepathically, he'll say, "You do not have to proceed. We can walk away whenever you want. I will not let anyone stop you from escaping."
She whispers back, "We have to proceed now."
Very well. He says that out loud.
Okay. You all continue up the spiral stairs that are around the outside of the inside of this round building, crossing up to a second floor where you see more of a similar type of look. This seems to be a library of sorts because there's books along the walls. There are desks in here as well, a globe along the one wall that seems to be a globe of Nier. It has black markings around it that seems to depict it as a world that is dark. And as you cross up to another floor yet again, you will see that it comes up to a higher level, and there's yet another and another. You climb up basically 10 flights of stairs to get to the top of the spire. And as you do, there is a room that is up here that seems to have a large oaken door, and there is a certain, I'm going to say, a certain familiarity about everything in here. It almost feels like you all have been in here before. It's hard to describe. And as you approach, the door opens.
I'm assuming that Cade and Regia are actually leading our little entourage.
I think so, unless Cade moved at all.
Oh, you're muted, Adrian.
Sorry. Yes, Cade will proceed, but right as we are entering the threshold, we'll look back briefly over to see Khalid, and then look over and see Isra, and then look over and see Flora. And when he looks over at Flora, his eyes will widen a bit, and then he will look back over at Khalim like, God. Then like regain his composure, turn back, and head towards further into the chamber.
Okay. You step into the chamber with Regia. What's everybody's order, I guess? How do you go in here?
I think Isra would have gone after Cade, since Kalim and Flora are hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we would be at the rear of this.
Okay. So we'll say, for the sake of argument, then, Isra, you come in last, and as you do,
Isra comes in between the two in the front and the two in the back.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
I misunderstood. I switched that in my mind. Gotcha. Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you come in, Kalim, Flora in the back, as you come in, you will see that the door behind starts to close on its own accord, and you see that the room here looks to be a bedroom. It looks to be that there is a 4-post bed on the one side with typical canopy and awning around it. You see that there is also a figure that is in the room. Their back is to all of you. They are staring out what looks to be a porthole that leads outside. They are watching the city. You see that there is a young woman in this room who you would see matches the age range of the young women who were being taken from Tarash when you all set out. This young woman who is in the room is actually off to the side, sitting on a stool. Her hands are crossed on her lap and her head is down. She has a very distant look in her eye, like she's not really seeing what sort of area she's in. There is blood that is streaked down the inside of her forearms that has dripped down across her fingers and has dribbled onto the floor as well. You can tell she's alive, but she seems to just be distant, almost in a trance of sorts. And as you enter, Regia speaks, "Countess, I have found the one you're looking for." And the Countess, her head raises up, and in that moment you see, briefly illuminated by the light of the moon outside, a bright golden curl to her hair. And as she slowly turns to regard all of you, this woman, a vampire, who clearly in life was a Willoy, as she turns to regard all of you, Flora, you immediately recognize her. It's your mother.
Flora is speechless, and she just stands there clinging to Kalim's hand.
Well, she says, looking at you, after all these years, my daughter returned. It's so great to see you. Well, I had to go through so many others before I found you, but it's you, isn't it? She starts to cross over the room, where she puts her hand out towards you, and right as she's about to make contact with your face, she stops herself.
Lim actually will move himself in front of Laura, not blocking her entirely, but as if to ward off the Countess.
She looks to you. What is the meaning of this? Daughter, do you not recognize me? Do you not know what sort of relief, what sort of joy you can have here? Oh, it has been so long. What have you done? What is this upon your face? Why do you paint yourself so?
I recognize your face, but I do not know you.
What do you mean?
You are not my mother.
I know that I am.
You were once.
She looks past you to Regia. Regia, are you sure that you found her? You found my daughter? Why is everyone so silent? Speak, but
She just asked Regia the question, right? Did Regia respond?
No, she's just kind of standing there.
As soon as she offers that, plea to speak, Kalim will now fully step over in front of Flora and stare at the Countess and say, "It is her choice what she does. You have no authority anymore to request of her things that she is not ready or willing to do. If you are indeed a mother, heartbroken or not, you should respect her daughter's wish."
Her eyes narrow. What would you know about it, Taylor?
It is not a matter of being a tailor or one of divinity or one who breathes or one who does not. It is a matter of respect. And in this moment, your emotions cloud your ability to respect your daughter. You lament the things that she does with her face, and yet you do not ask why. You instead ask what. And that implies that you do not respect her choice.
She looks around everybody, and then she looks to Regia. Is he for real right now? Does he not understand how it works around here? Do you not understand, Taylor, that I am in charge here? You can see that her eyes, they look like a Willow's eyes. They have a kind of a golden kind of pale hue. They start to darken, almost like storm clouds drawing in around her eyes. They start to glaze over completely black. Do you not understand that I am one who leads over your kind? I care not that you have been brought back from the brink of death, You will obey, or I will make you obey.
You may try.
Kalim, please roll an opposed athletics test.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and use my past life ability again.
Of course.
Because I can do it plenty. 24 total.
Okay. She reaches out and her fingers close around your throat, but you just instinctively flinch back and rip free. There is part of your flesh that you feel gets torn away, and she pulls it. She looks at it as it's all kind of gouged and dug down into her fingernails, now elongated like talons, and she just sneers, "Fine." And she flicks all the pieces of skin down onto the floor. Have it be your way. And with that, everybody please roll initiative.
Truth hurts.
Oh, shit. Grab my paper. Alrighty. Cade, what do you got?
Sorry, I was too busy shaking my head to roll.
That's okay. I don't even know, man. I don't even know.
19.
19. Flora, what do you have?
19.
All right. Issa. Not Issa, that's the last arc. Isra.
That's a 4.
4. Oh, yeah. You're ready for this. Kalim.
23.
Nice.
I did have to use another one of my abilities, so I'm running out of them, but...
She's gonna go on a 19 too. Funny. Okay, so what's everybody's dexterity? I'm sorry, everybody's initiative modifiers. Flora, what's yours?
+5.
5. Cade?
+3.
3. Okay, so it's gonna be Cade. I'm sorry, be Flora. Okay, so Kalim's be first. Kalim, Flora. It's gonna be Mommy Dearest, and then it's gonna be Cade. And then Isra. Okay. And let me go ahead and do this. So I should have done this while you guys were rolling initiatives.
That's all right.
Let's bring up our battle map brought to us by Neutral Party. This is our personal favorite people. Whoops, that's the wrong. There we go. Our personal favorite person to use for maps. This makes some really cool, awesome maps, as you all can see. This isn't entirely accurate as to what we're seeing, but you know, it's going to work great for the scale of what we're dealing with, this round room here. So we're going to have this, and this. We're going to have this. Oh, that's right on top of somebody. We don't want that. Who am I missing here? I'm missing somebody. Oh, yeah, we need David. No, I'm just kidding. David bursts in. I'll save you all. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we're missing. Oh, Flora's right there. One more move. What am I missing? This one. Oh, okay. Okay. So this figure here will be the Countess. She's standing over by that open window, as we mentioned. This gentleman statue here is going to be depicting where that bed was. So this is a pretty large round room, as you can see. There is another area over here. This is where you all came in through the doorway. And with that, if you guys want, you can go ahead and put yourselves where you would want to be real quick before we start off with Kalim having the first launch of the initiative, because he is ready to go.
Where is, what's her name? The Countess?
That's this figure here.
Oh, gotcha. All right. I think Kalim will.
Kate's like, I'm gone. I'm downstairs.
Kate's running. Overlay for people to see. There you go. You know what? I think that this is going to. No, I don't think that's it. Wait, oh, there it is. I think I'm going to cast Dispel Evil Good.
Oh,
And
snap.
So I'm just going to step up to her, drawing my black blade in one smooth motion, and channeling magic through it. You see the blade itself start to be wreathed in shadow, and he goes to swing the blade as if he's going to strike her with it, but he stops just beforehand as part of the spell. So I have to make a spell attack roll against her. That's a 22 to hit.
It does. Yep.
Okay. Oop, that was not what I was trying to do. I accidentally rolled another die. Let's see. As an action, on a hit, you drive. She has to succeed on a charisma saving throw, so she's probably going to succeed, but worth the effort.
18 on the die plus 4. 22.
Okay, she succeeds. So there is no additional effect.
Okay.
No damage. That's it. I attempted to banish her through that dispelling, by the way.
Nice. Yeah, so as that black ebon blade that you have slices through, trailing a bit of shadowy form around it, it slices through. She actually slightly moves out of the way. It does hit her as she actually puts her arm up and kind of snakes her arm in around and smacks your hand off to the side. What's the damage that it does? Because, I mean, it did hit her.
None.
Oh, it doesn't do anything. Oh, just to banish. Okay.
Correct.
Cool. I thought it did the weapon damage as well, so not a problem.
Nope.
And she just snarls at you. With that, Flora, it is your turn. If you think you are able to do something now.
Flora is going to cast Dissonant Whispers.
Okay.
Which is a Wisdom save 17, because she's gonna do it's gonna be a 3rd level.
Ooh, okay. Let's see. Wisdom save is in?
Yep.
18.
Rats. I believe she will take half damage then.
Okay. It's psychic damage, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So that would be 10 damage.
Cool.
And the whispers are going to be like memories of Flora's time with her, and kind of her life, moments from her life as a human or as a Willowy.
Absolutely. Those moments of mother and daughter in a simpler time, an easier time before all of this happened, they start to flood in around her. You can see her kind of starting to resist. There's a twitching, and she's starting to struggle against such a thing, but then her eyes flash open, and because you are still in front of her, Kalim, she is going to attack you. Oh,
okay.
Almost dropping still. Okay, she's going to do a full attack on you. Whoops. Okay, so she's going to swipe at you with her now claws that she has, talon-like claws. She swipes at you one time, and as she does, you see her features snarl back, her forehead having that strange ridge effect. Her features are pulled back a little bit. There is that brow that becomes prominent as her eyes glaze over, almost like a cat's eyes. And she is going to swipe at you. The first attack, you dodge underneath as she swipes through the air. Her claws don't catch anything. And as you come back up to ready yourself for a strike, she reverses, she sidesteps off to the way, and she just brings her claws down straight at you. The second attack is going to be a 24 to hit.
That will hit.
Okay, so you are going to take 17 points of slashing damage.
Okay.
As she brings the claws down and just slices down through you. She catches like just below your cheekbone and runs down through your chin. And she just has that snarl on her face. She is mine. You will not take her from me. And then she is going to actually, as part of all that attacking, she's going to, if I can cursor her, this one. She's going to move in and around you so that she's not by the opening here. And with that, that will be her turn. So, Cade.
I did do a concentration check, by the way, on the protection from good and evil, and it is still up.
Perfect. All right. Cade.
Cade will glance over his, after seeing all this, will quickly glance over his shoulder to Redya with that look. Are you friend or foe in this moment? Like, quickly assessing the person behind us. Like, are we going to be attacked on both sides? Does it look like she's readying a weapon? Does it look like she's going to be she a bystander in this, or what?
Right. She does have her bow in hand, you see.
Can I like check an insight to see if like intention, you know, like that scene in the OK Corral when they kind of lock eyes and like,
Oh yeah.
are we
Oh,
gonna fight or what? That kind of thing.
Yes. I think Cade is very unforgiving right now. I love it. Yeah, go ahead. Make an insight check real quick.
19.
19. You can tell that she is a picture of that cool, calm demeanor that you can't typically tell what she's doing, but you see that she is knocking an arrow, and as she's knocking the arrow, she is looking at, you would see the direction of the companions of yours that are over by the window. So you're not really sure with that roll if she's going to attack she's going to attack the Countess, or if she's going to attack Kalim. Could be a 50-50 chance at this point.
That's pretty good odds. All right, so Cade will steadily walk over here to where Isra will place a hand on Flora and stay behind me. We'll turn around, and as he turns around, he takes out his magical sword, which glows in the light of the moon and like illuminates the moonlight as his helmet falls in over his face.
Countess, stay away.
And will attack. He will attack with his sword, and he knows that she's coming for Flora, so he's going to attack first.
Excellent.
Boom. Let's see. That probably will not hit because it's an 11.
Yeah, you surge in. The sword does a wide arc. She is unbearably fast. You've fought vampires before. You know how quick they can be. However, as fast as she is moving, she's got a little more oomph in her step here. She's moving very quickly, and your sword cuts through empty air.
Got it.
In that moment, good.
I do. I have a feat. I have a crossbow expert. So as I get a bonus action whenever I attack my sword. So as I'm expecting her to swift underneath my blade,
Nice.
here comes the hand crossbow to try to anticipate where she's moving.
Perfect. Yeah, so it's a wide arc, and then right as you finish it, you pull it up, point it right at her.
Oop, I accidentally rolled damage. Hold on, sorry about that. I think I rolled damage.
Well, then it must have hit. No?
Well, I rolled the attack. That's just weird. Hold on.
The hand crossbow is a 20 to hit.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did get a 20.
Nice. As you pull the trigger, the crossbow bolt slams point blank right into her chest. What's the damage on that?
It was
9 points of damage.
9. Beautiful.
You also have another melee attack too.
I do.
Yeah, because you have full round. Yeah, full attack
Right.
action. Yeah, because these are level 9 characters.
Right.
Yep.
So after it strikes her and that kind of slows her down a bit, here comes the blade again.
Nice.
Man, just can't do it with the sword. 14.
Okay. Yeah. As she gets plugged with the crossbow, she just jerks from it. You bring the sword down, and she again just sidesteps out of the way the other way. It slides through the empty air. And back at the top, Kalim.
We skipped a couple people.
Did we? Isra.
We skipped
next.
Isra, at
right,
least.
Right on my paper. Look, everybody, that says Isra right there. Hi,
And
Isra.
Wait.
Hi.
Technically, Regia didn't go.
Yeah,
That's right. She didn't, did she?
she probably would be higher than me based
Yeah,
on my
she's
crappy roll.
she's got a turn. She just didn't do anything yet.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Ooh. Okay, well, Isra will, still making eye contact with the Countess, will speak to Flora and just say, "What do you want, Flora?"
She's not my mother.
and you'll see Isra, with all of her body, will let out just an inhuman scream that none of you can hear apart from the Countess. It sounds like hundreds of voices screaming in agony and despair, and it should hopefully harm her. She has to make a wisdom saving throw, DC 16.
Okay.
Otherwise, she's frightened.
Oh, all right. Being a spiritualist warlock, you do call upon the spirits, the ghosts that live within you as a medium, and they do come out screaming. Oh, shit. Natural 20.
Okay.
So she's gonna pass, but does she take partial damage, or is it a save?
No.
Okay, she's fine.
She is good.
Okay. Okay. She doesn't seem to be frightened.
No, not at all. That was a bonus action.
Okay.
So I let out that scream. I'll move over just a touch, and I'm going to send out a couple of Eldritch Blasts.
Of course.
At her.
Good old standby.
All right. Well, that's a 10. That's nothing. Oh, come on. And a 17. Does 17 hit?
A 17 will hit her. Yep.
Fantastic. Okay. 8 points of damage to her.
Okay.
And that. Yeah, that'll be the end of my turn.
Okay. Yeah, that dark swirling energy that you pull out, the eldritch energies that flow about you, you pull them out of that scream that you released, and you channel it as if the spirits are swirling through the air. One misses, the other one hits her. Kind of a glancing blow off to the side, slams into her arm. Now it's the top of the round 2 with Kalim. Thanks for keeping me honest, Miko.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry,
I just
Beth.
wanted to see what awesomeness Beth was going to do.
So, of course. We don't want to forget Beth.
I am going to... Sorry, Deb. I'm going to have to drop the protection spell. I'm going to cast Spirit Shroud as a bonus action
Oh, no. Okay.
on myself. And then I'm going to attack this woman.
Excellent.
So... let's see. That is a natural 19 for a total of 26.
Okay. Yeah. Flora, you feel that protection leave you. It almost gets pulled off you, almost violently. It gets pulled out of you. And as it does so, Kalim, you pull it into the spell. It gestures and moves around. It forms into that darkness, and you bring the shadows down at her with that. And yeah, that's definitely going to be high enough to work.
Okay. So I am dealing psychic damage from my Divine Strike, which is on all my melee attacks, radiant damage from the Divine Shroud, or Spirit Shroud rather, and then slashing damage. Does any of that matter as far as like resistances or anything that I need to give you the numbers separately?
Do you have a magical blade, or you have a regular blade?
Magical.
Okay,
blade.
then you're good. Go ahead and just give it to me.
All right. So
Give it to me.
that is a total of 25 points of damage.
Ooh, yeah.
Some of which, 10 of which was radiant. I'm sorry, 8 of which was radiant.
Okay.
So, as the swirl of dark, shadowy energy gets, pulled out of the protection spell and onto Cullen's blade, and he channels the strike into this woman, he's telepathically going to tell her, "You could have gone a different way with this." And that's my turn.
Okay. Alrighty. Flora, you can see that from where Kalim's spell just hit your mother, there is a singed and burnt part of her flesh. That deep burn that, much like he caused when he brought down the daylight onto the vampires in the town previously in your journey. Not as deeply, because this isn't the same type of effect, but that radiant damage definitely was very impactful to her. Part of her beautiful countenance is slightly smeared away, as part of her cheek is going to be forever irrevocably burned and deteriorated in that spot. But with that being said, what would you like to do against this creature that wears your mother's face?
It's also worth mentioning, Kev, that she cannot regain hit points until the start of my next turn, and her movement speed is reduced.
Oh, yeah. It's reduced by 10? Okay. Cool.
Flora looks at her and says, "My face and my bells speak truth." And she is going to cast Ray of Sickness at 4th level, which is an attack spell. That is a 26 to hit.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes, you jingle the bells in a certain syncopation that you're used to. The spell is cast, and the music comes across. The dance macabre joins in around you, and the ray streaks out, hits into her.
So I will roll for damage. She has to roll a 17 con save to avoid being poisoned.
Okay, well, she's going to fail that.
So she takes 29 poison damage
Oh,
and
wow.
is poisoned.
Oof. Okay.
Well, she might be resistant to the poison damage, though. Let's hope not.
Yeah. So, it hits into her. You see, it does not have as much of an effect as you would like. You do see that the way that the Ray of Sickness hits, she sways slightly. You can see her features kind of distort in pain. But again, much like she did before when you guys hit her, she kind of regains her balance, regains her recuperation, that's not a word, regains her composure is what I'm trying to say. And she is actually going to stand upright, and she's going to say, "Not today, knight." And she's going to attack you, Cade. Okay, please roll and... please roll an opposed athletics test, if you could, please.
16.
16. Her hand shoots out and moves in around where your sword arm is, and she punches in through the front part of your armor. Her fingers grip into it, and there's a groaning sound as she wrenches you up off of the floor. And turning with the same motion, she is going to actually make sure this works. Yep. She is going to throw you past. So basically, the way it's positioned here on the map, it's going to be like she turns her back slightly to Kalim for a second. As she throws you, you go out towards the opening that she was looking out. I'll let you please make a dexterity saving throw to try to catch yourself before you fly out the window. She's going to defenestrate you.
The classic defenestration attack.
15.
15. And as you go flying towards the opening, you're able to just manage to either your sword or your shield, your arm, however it is you want to have it happen, you manage to catch yourself and you slam into the side of that opening that she was staring out. You don't fly out of the window all the way. You're kind of caught. There's a slamming, a groaning sound, and she just turns her attention back towards the rest of the group. And she can't regain any hit points, so her regeneration is not going to work all too well. But
That's right.
that's right, baby. Okay, and with that, you see that Regia this entire time has been watching to see what's going on, and as she sees everything that's going on, she looks at all of you. Her eyes look directly towards Flora. Flora, I would think you're probably too focused on your mom to notice what she's doing. So you see that Regia studies you for just a moment. She knocks that arrow, she slides up, she aims to the back of your head, and as she releases, she flicks her wrist slightly, and the arrow streaks past you and goes flying towards your mom. And with the attack roll, he is going to hit her, and the arrow streaks through. It slams into your mother's shoulder. It burns and pops. There's like that exploding energy that shoots out of the side of it as something in the head of it explodes, and your mother flies back and she gets hit into this pillar type of apparatus here, and slams into that, and the arrow just starts to burn and wither away from the exploding nature of the outside of it. Regia looks to all of you, and she says, "We have to go now." And she motions for you all to follow her back towards the opening of the room you all came in. But Cade, it's your turn. You are partially out of the window. It would be basically, I'll say, your movement to get back inside if you want to get back inside.
How many floors is it down?
10.
It's a little too many.
Yeah.
That about- like,
Yeah,
just
it's not
looking down like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
no. All right.
I gotta make it fun if you fall out, you know?
Right. Like, oh, which is a Wilhelm scream.
Right.
He will stand up, and he will look over to the Countess. He obviously heard what Regia said, so will reach out, will stick out his sword again and point it at the Countess, and will cast Hunter's Mark.
Okay.
You are my target. Do you not remember me? I've shot you before, and
He will show his neck with the bite mark.
I've been looking for you, Countess.
And then we'll slowly try to gain her attention as we'll come out with sword and crossbow, and he's going to buy them some time, and he's going to go to attack.
I love it. I love it.
All the lore drops tonight.
I love it. Yeah, you press the advantage. You go streaking in towards her, a man of valiant nature, your nobility, a knight, and you surge forward.
All right, let's see if this sword strikes true. .22.
22.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
So that will do 6 points of damage.
Okay.
Oh, plus d6 because
Plus your
it is,
d6?
plus
Yep.
d6.
The Hunter's Mark. Oh yeah.
Hunter's Mark. It's
And do you get any favorite enemy bonus stuff?
it's more of survival checks and intelligence and perception, not
Yeah. It's
Wasn't
not
sure
like,
what flavor hunter you were going with there.
yeah. But so an extra 5, so that's 11 points of damage.
Okay. Whew, you guys are laying it on her. If she was a regular vampire, you guys would have had this handled by now. So, yeah. So you that's your attack with your sword. You
Right.
have
I do get one more attack because
Yeah.
I get a second attack because the casting Hunter's Mark is a bonus action. So sorry, I should have rolled again.
gotcha.
That will be 19.
Okay. Yep.
That'll be 9 points plus 6. 10 points of damage.
Okay. You bring the sword down twice, slamming into her, slicing into her as she just kind of screams out in pain. She's not having a very fun time. She looks like she is injured, but she looks like she is not totally out of what's going on here. Isra, what would you like to do?
I don't know if I want to book it for the door yet because my friends are all still here, but she will step closer towards Flora, and she's going to, yeah, she's just gonna Eldritch Blast some more.
Cool.
25 for the first one,
No,
and
that
a
misses.
12
Sorry.
for the second.
Yeah, that's 25. Yeah. They both
Okay,
miss.
and then I'll kill you. All right, so that's 6 points plus my Vessel of Souls
Oh, yes.
for an additional 7 points
Ooh.
of damage. So 13 total.
Mm-hmm.
And that will. No, I can still do it. My bonus action. I'm going to scream again at her.
Yeah.
I have a lot of feelings, so I'm gonna scream again.
So
It's a
many
wisdom
emotions.
saving throw. DC 16.
Oh, that's cocked. That's an 8, so no.
Okay, she's frightened for a minute.
Oh, snap. All right.
She can make a save at the end of each of her turns, though, and try to, get out of it.
Gotcha. Yes, for right now she is backing up against that pillar that she's against, just panic in her eyes, her wide black orb-like eyes. And with that, Kalim, what would you like to do?
Okay, so I apologize. I was dealing with a producer moment
Of course,
there
not a
a
problem.
little bit ago. What was the
Thanks for
action
doing
that
that
took
for us.
Pardon?
Thanks for doing that for us.
Yeah, no problem. Like half the group's internet just all you guys all live in a similar region, so I think the internet just went
Yeah.
crazy for a second there, and everybody started lagging out, and I was frantically trying to figure that out. So
Oh,
I
man.
missed the action associated to. We were told to flee.
Yeah, Regia shot the Countess and
Right.
said that you guys should flee now, but everyone else seems to still be attacking. So, with that,
Well, thank you so much, Radiant Rosie. Deb,
Oh, thank you.
just gotta tier ones up.
Hey,
Okay, so I think it's safe for us to say that Flora weighs nothing, right?
yeah,
She's
like 90-something.
For sure. Yep.
soaking
She's a little
wet.
thing.
Yeah,
she's a little,
she
she's a little
might.
petite girl. Yeah.
Right. So I think Kalim will whoop, that is definitely the wrong thing. I think he will come over to her and sheathe his sword. Well, actually, no, as he's running, he will point his sword at the Countess and he will cast Guiding Bolt at 4th level at her.
Oh man, I love it. It's also my favorite spell. People at home, in case you are not aware.
it's so good.
I love it. It's my favorite spell ever.
So that's a 23 to hit. Not the natural 20 that I had last week, but I'll take it.
Yeah. It'll hit.
And 23 points of radiant damage. And then as he runs over, he sheathes his sword and he just scoops Flora up in his arms and immediately starts moving towards the well, I guess in this case he just simply moves towards the center of the room with her.
Mhm.
He can't really move that far. And can't do much for bonus. Oh, actually, wait. Is there shadows by the door?
Yeah, this map doesn't really depict it very well, but yeah, there is.
Okay. Ooh, actually, above board question first. Deb, would Flora want to get out of here or not? Like, I think Kalim can probably see from her what her intentions would be. Does she want out of this room? Because I can get both of us out.
She is like, at this point, basically like Kalim was in the cave, and
Okay.
if someone
He-
makes a decision for her, that's...
I will absolutely use my shadow walk ability then and poof through the shadows around this room, both of us, all the way on the other side of the room, effectively attempting to flee.
Very cool. So you point your sword, and the radiant energy of the guiding bolt flashes out and slams into the Countess. And in this moment, as you grab a hold of Flora and you slither into the shadows and pop back. Wait, what? You come back out on the other side. You come out by the door. Sorry, everybody. It's getting to be the witching hour, and all kinds of weird stuff just happened right now. I'm all excited. There's all these subs flying around tonight. Great folks with great times. Anyway, so you go into the dark, you come out of the other shadow, and as you do so, in this moment, as the radiant energy, Your front and center, Cade, you see the radiant energy begin to burn away at the Countess. Her features getting just sloughed off as the energy, the light is burning away at her. The radiant energy of the darkness that Kalim manifests pulling out of the area, bathing her in radiant holy magic. Flora, as you come out of the shadows over by the door with Kalim, you look back over towards your mother, and you can see that in this moment, his magic burns away at her. You can see that dark, evil, just wicked magic, wicked vampire look to her is just being destroyed, pulled away. You can see that beneath that woman, the mother that you lost, that you have spent all this time trying to find, you see her features. She looks up, and in this moment of this rictus, this evil, malicious look that this vampire has, she looks across the room, and in that moment, it's almost as if you're looking at her in her previous form, remembering her back when she was still among the living. And as the radiant energy washes away and removes her from her unliving condition, removes her from this world, that wind chime sound rings out a final time before it's silenced. And it's your turn.
Flora doesn't take an action. She just lets Kalim carry her, and she weeps.
Okay. And Regia, as she sees that you guys are exiting, she says, "Come on! They'll be up here in a moment." And she will start running towards the door, sprinting towards the door to catch up with the others. Cade, Isra, in this moment, you can see the Countess is destroyed. The ashy, burnt, charred husk of her body just kind of falling away, ashes on the floor. And you both can hear that there's sounds outside, guards people you would assume, "The Countess is under attack, quickly to the tower," and things of this nature. And you know that you have just a moment to probably get out of here. What would the two of you like to do as combat comes to an end? We just have these final moments of you in this moment. What do you want to do?
Well, Cade will look down and get down on one knee over the Countess, and will hold the necklace he wears around his neck. Looks down upon the charred ashed body. Will take out and will place his hand on the destroyed carcass of a body, and just take the remnants of his sword, and look down and just say one final line to the Countess.
One last embrace.
And will stab into where her heart would be. Wants to make sure that this vampire is slain, and is kind of really entranced with finishing it off, regardless, and completely ignoring the shouts if we need to go. Will continue to rub his neck as he finishes stabbing it, and then puts his hand on his necklace. He stands back up with that kind of exhale of a sigh, as if something is finally over, until eventually the sounds of yelling and screaming come back into his senses, and looks over to see Isra.
Isra, what do you do?
Isra watches as the body turns to ash, watches what Cade does with a look of, I don't know, just a look of, this is fucked. And she'll start
Beth.
Uh-oh, some slight technical difficulties.
Beth dropped entirely.
Oh
Oh
no!
no.
I'm sure she did something extremely amazing. And I think what happens is, Cade, as you have this moment, Isra's going to come up. She's going to grab you, kind of pull you to your feet. The two of you run
Okay.
towards the doorway. And as you all get to the doorway and start exiting out, you all move as a group down the stairs. Regia moves to the front as she leads the way. You guys get down to that base. Oh, go ahead, Miko.
Yeah, I had an idea that could potentially help our escape.
Sure.
I actually, not just because I personally was producing stuff and didn't know what the fuck was going on with the Countess, but also I don't think Kalim noticed what happened with the Countess. I think
Okay.
he just kind of threw the guiding bolt to the side, hoping it would hit. Like his focus was entirely on Flora and scooping her up and getting her out of there. So I don't even think that he realized what happened there.
Okay.
And so at the doorway, hearing the guards and stuff coming, as everyone comes over and is actually fleeing, I will do Pass Without Trace.
Oh, okay.
So that
Yeah.
we can hopefully get out of this, as Beth so eloquently put it, fucked situation.
Right. Absolute. Do you include Regia in that Pass Without Trace? Is it everybody, or do you pick custom?
She did technically support us in the moment, and also I think that she would be a liability if I didn't. So,
Okay.
Klim, despite everything, does have a rational mind, and in the moment he just wants to protect Flora and get her out.
Okay.
Now, who's to say later if he doesn't, drop that effect on Regia and then you kick her to the side and use her as bait? That might happen later on, but for now...
Oh, you rascal. Okay. Alrighty.
For now, she's an ally.
Good to know. Isra, was there something you wanted to do? You did drop. That's okay. We love you, Beth. Thanks for coming back.
No, I just wanted to leave the room. That's all.
Okay, well, you know what? That's great, because that was my instincts, and that's what I had you do. So, yeah.
Fantastic.
You helped Cade up to his feet, pulling him out of his moment, and the two of you went out of the room. And as you all kind of group up, Kalim does Pass Without a Trace. You all start going down. As you make your way down, further and further down the tower, as you get to the second floor, not the first floor, Regia actually says, "This way," and she crosses into that room to where there apparently seems to be some sort of secret entrance behind a column. A column on the wall. She moves in, she pushes it out of the way, and she leads you guys in through that. If everybody could, real quick, please make a stealth test. We'll do this as a group roll as well. Because of the fact that the guards are all actively looking for you, we're going to need 3 of you to succeed as opposed to the 2 that we had last time. So
You get +10, and also, where's David?
where's David? Yeah.
Okay.
You guys left David on the first floor. Do you want to go to the first floor to find David, or go out of this exit with Regia?
Shit. I will say, go on. I'll meet up with you. I'm going to get David. 26 stealth.
Okay.
33 stealth for me.
Okay.
36 stealth.
37 stealth.
Oh!
Holy cow. Well,
I love how
I
the
got a 50
Ranger got the
stealth,
shittiest
so-
stealth.
Just teleported.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically what happens is that you guys bend space and time and emerge with a DeLorean on someplace else. No. Okay, yeah. You all slip in through the opening behind the columns, and there is a stairwell that leads down. It looks like you wouldn't be able to see this from the outside of the building. It is, in fact, a secret stairway that leads down and will exit out of the base of the tower in an area where you guys won't be seen. Cade, however, you go down to the first floor, and when you go down to the first floor, there were the 3 guardsmen that were there. You see that one of them has a hold of David. They have their sword to his throat, and the other 2 look up to see you. And as you enter into the room, the one who has his sword at David's throat, "Don't come any closer."
I hate to be the cause of
"Surrender,
his
or this
death.
man is killed."
Cade will stop, wait, they saw me. I was stealthy. They obviously saw me.
Oh yeah, you know, super high ass stealth. They didn't see you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Like, wait, oh
I'm
shit!
sorry.
It was, how loud was I?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You come into the room. They have a hold of David. One of them has a,
Okay.
has a sword and stuff. I'm so sorry, everybody at home.
Okay.
It's midnight where I'm at. So
Okay.
sorry about
Okay.
that.
No worries. So obviously, I see that David is in danger.
Yeah.
And there's 3 of them, and there's 1 of me. And I'm assuming they're vampires.
They are. Yeah, they're vampire guardsmen. Yeah.
Fuck. They though have not seen me with my helmet on. So because I cannot be seen at this moment, I will and I know they have very keen hearing. So as like I'm about to get to that floor, I will be
Leave him. The Countess needs your help now.
Nice. Roll a deception check.
okay.
Does the helm give you any sort of bonus on things?
It just gives me like a fearful domain. What do you call it?
Cool.
Dreadful.
Yes.
Dreadful aura.
Doesn't really have any.
Yeah. Cool. Make a make a deception roll.
Just looks like a. freaking
Could I
death to me.
petition for him to get advantage because their goal is to protect the Countess?
You know what? Sure, why not? Let's do it.
Looking out for you, Adrian.
You know what, Miko? You just fucking convinced me.
21.
Okay.
Nice.
They look to you. They recognize you as the fact that you were with Regia. They look around. The one who has his sword to David's throat, he turns, still holding on to David by the back of David's shirt or whatever. The other 2 look to him. He just motions for the stairs. They move around you and start going up the stairs. The one who has David looks to you and he says, where's the rest of the group?
The Countess is under attack. Stop playing with the food and go upstairs and help her now.
All right. One more persuasion roll with advantage.
Wait. $22.
Okay. He looks for a moment. He seems to weigh this out. And then he just shoves David really hard down onto his knees. He says as he slams him to the ground. And the man moves past you, making his way upstairs to try to go help the Countess. You can hear that there's sounds of people outside. You and David get to the front door, and as you get to the front door, you can see that there are at least 24 vampire guardsmen coming in around the building, trying to come at you guys, drawing swords, drawing weapons. On the back of the building, in another entryway, the other 3 of you emerge with Regia, and she leads you off down where some of the spires are close, so it's like back alleys and things like this. And she leads you down a short little hall, a short little maze off to the side area. And as you all are escaping, Cade, you and David watch as these 24 vampire guardsmen come in around the 2 of you, and they start drawing weapons. And hold your business, stay where you are.
Kate always sighs before he has to kill something.
I'm gonna kill them all.
It's like, oh, that's a. They're like, how many is there, David? We're like, oh god. Okay, would it be, as I see them approach, would it be more strategic for us to start heading to the 2nd floor? Like, well, okay, this isn't the right way. Let's go back up to the top.
Go ahead and make an insight check.
This doesn't seem to be working. 19.
Yeah, you have enough time. If you can get up there, and if these guys don't know about that secret exit,
Right.
you can maybe get away.
All right, well, it'll be like, okay, well, we're obviously not getting out through this door. So just like, David, let's go. And just grab it and
You pull him back into the room.
yeah, well, like, nope, back upstairs.
Yes.
So we're heading to the second floor.
Okay, you guys start running upstairs. As the vampire guardsmen continue to move in around the building, the rest of you are outside and moving around, trying to get to the back way to get out of here. As you get to where the back exit way is, it opens up into a section over by where, like an open area. You can see the obelisk of the vanquished is nearby. That tall obelisk made out of body parts. And in this moment, as you all come out, you look back, wondering where the rest of the people are, where Cade and David are going to be. As you stand there, Kalim, you feel it before you see it. Something that seems to call you, something that feels very similar to a feeling you had earlier tonight. There is a familiarity, a feeling of home, a feeling of finding something that was missing. And you slowly find yourself turning towards where the obelisk of the vanquished is. And in this moment, you look and you see a large, hulking form begin to materialize out of the dark. A huge 20 to 25 foot tall massive form with 4 arms that end in razor sharp claws. This large beast, almost like a giant ape, with alien-like features that are semi-shrouded in darkness. It steps forward, beginning to emerge, and as the great dark makes its presence known in the center of the City of Spires, dwarfing out the obelisk of the vanquished. We're going to conclude tonight's tale for tonight, y'all. Let's go ahead and let's wrap it up. Thank you all so very much for watching. To be continued next week, we will have the conclusion of this 4-part arc as our heroes have to A, not get killed, B, defeat this giant weird alien creature, and hopefully find a missing girl that started the whole thing off. Thank you all so very much for watching. We have a couple of things real quick before we go. I want to say first off, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all for the new people hanging out with us tonight. Randy and Rosie, you're awesome. Doing some subs, gifted some subs. You are definitely welcome here. Come back anytime. We love you. Thank you so much. Yay. That was really appreciated. And also, I want to thank, of course, Jason Forbes and Ali Rebelli, who created this game, allowing us to play. They are doing all this really hard, awesome, cool work over there in Italy, making sure this game is refined. A 20-year-long journey for Jason, getting the game to the tables. If you want to play some La Notte Eterna yourself, you can get the quick start right now at the link tree, which is above Adrian's head right there. And you can go to that link tree. It's got where you can get onto the website, where you can download the quick start. You can also get onto the backer kit to get your own copy of the books. They're going to be launching end of the year, beginning of next year. There is a whole bunch of new stuff in the works. They've got cool new subclasses. All the characters sitting here are playing with specialty subclasses and races from the book that you can play most of it out in the quick starter. So if you want to play as a Willoy, as a Karevi, if you want to check out what this Dance Macabre is all about, you can do that. Very cool stuff. I want to thank them. I want to thank Tabletop Audio for providing the cool music that we've had streaming and thrumming in your ears tonight. I want to thank Neutral Party for the cool map that we get to do. I also want to go ahead and just thank, again, all of you for hanging out with us. And, this was great. We do it for you guys and to have some fun. So thank you. Let's go ahead and go around. Let's have everybody tell you where you can find them when they're not here trolling around in the eternal night. Let's start with Adrian, my man.
Hello.
Great stuff tonight. I love it.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. Thanks so much for inviting me to play. My name is Adrian. I go on the internets on Twitter. You can find me at @SlySparrow_. Also on the Instagram and the Discord and all those things, where I'm always talking about tabletop role-playing games, cool ideas for stories. I'm an actor producer around town, and so I just love doing this and playing these great games with all these great people. Love collaborative storytelling, and this is like the perfect example of how people can just get together and have a great time. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you for inviting me to play.
Thank you, Adrian. You are a gentleman and a scholar, and I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Other side of me, rounding out the awesome group here, Beth, thanks for being back. This was awesome. And yeah, thank you so much. Where can they find you? What are you doing? I mean, I might know a little something that you do with Miko and I. What are you up to? Yeah, what?
Not sure. No, I'm Beth. I'm all over the internet at Beth Masco. I am also part of the Wanderer's Haven channel, doing some fun stuff over there. We have a really, really fun thing coming up on Labor Day, Monday, and I'm just excited. One of you could talk about it, but just know I'm super stoked.
No, you know what? I want you to talk about it's on you because we each have things to talk about with that. So you tell us what are we doing Monday? Tell them.
All right, fine.
It's our
We're
other home away
doing.
from home,
Normally on Mondays, Jeremy will do a miniature Monday where he creates minis using Hero Forge, and we decided to throw some chaos in the mix and turn it into a competition.
Mhm.
So there will be a lot of creating of these minis with time limits and prompts and all of that good stuff. So I love spending time on Hero Forge, and making it a competition just really speaks to me. So
Yeah.
very stoked for that. Lots of other good stuff coming up, but this game is a total blast. I want it to be next Friday because I really want to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
Lots of lore dropped, great cliffhanger. I'm so excited.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Beth. Yeah, I can't wait for that miniature Monday craziness. I can't wait for next week either. I just want to keep playing, but you know, lives, sleep, what's that? But thank you so much. Deb, sorry we killed your mom tonight, but love
I
you.
really wasn't trying to kill her, honestly.
You know,
I wasn't intending for her to die. I was totally like, okay, this is gonna be a nice little drop. We're gonna see what they do with this. And Miko was just like, you guys were just dealing some damage tonight. But
at
anyway.
least she's not the main big bad evil guy. That's, you know, we've got one more of those to fight next week. So that's good, I guess.
Yay.
Yeah, so much fun. I love this game. I'm Deb. I'm on Instagram at dsweats, Discord, Blue Sky, not Twitter. That's a guy from Texas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am here for one more week, and hopefully sometime in the future.
least,
Otherwise, I'm over at the Wanderer's Haven on Wednesdays with Miko and Beth and Kev coming up.
Mhm.
Starting next Wednesday. It's going to be so much fun. And then occasionally on Wanderer's Haven with the We Get to Play, which is also super great, and trying out
yeah.
different systems. So that's me.
Awesome. Deb, thank you so very much. It's always a pleasure. Love the shirt, as we talked about beforehand. It's a joy, so thank you so much. Miko, like I said, Miko is the producer here on the channel, and he's playing in this arc as well. Miko, thank you so very much. Tell us what all you're doing besides those two cool things.
That's it. Nothing else. I got nothing else to talk about. Everybody stole all of my thunder because they're doing all of the cool things too. And let's be honest, you're here for them and not me anyway. So, yeah, you can find me over at the Wanderer's Haven channel. We have a new arc in my Hysteria game coming up on Wednesday. The Miniature Monday thing, like Beth said. If you're all interested in the things that I do, because I run games, play games, create games, and do all kinds of cool stuff, you can check me out on the socials at @the_KS_GM, anywhere that they allow underscores, and no underscores in the places that they don't. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the finale and what gets cooked up next week, Kev.
Yes. It'll be grand. Thank you, Miko. Appreciate you, buddy. And thank you for being here despite how tired you are from flying in today. So, yes.
That's
so,
all right.
as
I mean,
said,
6 hours sleep in the past 48 hours is fine.
yeah, no biggie. It's all good. We can sleep when we're dead from not sleeping.
Yeah.
Yes, so I'm Kevin. As we said, I can be found online at the socials at KevRan Games. I am the U.S. ambassador here for Notte Eterna, main dungeon master for the channel, as well as found over on Wanderer's Haven with these cool folks. I do some other stuff too, including I am a cast member of Murder Hobo Inc., which we do really cool off-the-wall randomized stuff. Tomorrow we have a game going on. I'm debuting a new character, a halfling who used to be a miner. It'll be kind of fun.
Why do you need a new character for that again, Kev?
What's that?
Why do you need a new character for that?
Because for the first time in 3 years for that channel, my character died 2 weeks ago. My really cool shotgun-wielding tiefling paladin got smushed put on him. But anyway, yeah, so good stuff.
He got murdered on the Murder Hobo channel?
Murdered
Go
on
figure.
the Murder Hobo Inc. show. That's right. You can find that on YouTube. And also, I am on a, well, you know, I can't say that yet. I was going to say something else I'm on. I can't say it yet. That'll come later. But yeah, I'll be doing the thing on Monday with them. Also on Sunday on Wanderers, I'm running a one-shot where we're playing Cortex. We're playing Hammerheads, which is basically like if firefighters, police people like that were superheroes. Come check it out. It's like G.I. Joe on crack. Yeah, and it'll be fun.
That tracks.
That's yeah, the back tracks. But anyway, this was an absolute joy. Thank you all so very much for hanging out with us. I mean that. And cool. Please come back at any time. You can also find videos on our YouTube channel or VOD right here where you're watching this one. And let's go ahead and say goodnight. Until next time,
We're gonna raid
may the
Fusca.
moon. Oh yeah, we're gonna raid Fusca. You know what? Thank you. It's set on my. You know what? Again, it's right here. Thank you. We're gonna raid our good friends Fusca. They're awesome and they're up late like we are. So rock on, Fusca. They're playing cool games. So yes, we will see you all next time. Please join us. And until next time, may the moon smile upon you. Good night, one and all.